What's up? Welcome to today's live stream. I'm William, and today is Saturday, August 26th. I think I'm going to have a few guests join me today at some point. But until that point, I'm going to work on what I was working on yesterday. There's a little bit of refactoring that I can do, some code cleanup basically, to get my PR in order. I can go ahead and build out my PR. And there's also some things on the Vercel side of things where I need to update environment variables so that I can get this to work from like a public endpoint. The other thing is I need to have authentication, like user accounts. I decided against doing it yesterday because it's like, it was unnecessary to get to my goal of just getting the stream details. But now that I've done that, I now need to do the auth accounts. And initially I was thinking I would do it through Slack, But now I'm thinking I'm just going to have you sign up. Okay, I'm going to sign up essentially so I can get that off. And then that'll add an account in my auth table. And then I'll have a profile that, you know, maps to the user in the auth table. And that profile is going to have Slack information, YouTube information. And yeah, I don't really have a good model yet, but you know, we'll figure it out. In any case, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen, I think. Actually, give me a second. This was gonna be pages, track idea. I'm deleting a bunch of these. Well, I'm deleting a bunch of chats in ChatGPT. And some of them just aren't even working. I have like a lot of unnamed chats, just random stuff, and it's adding confusion to my life. Nope. Yeah, half of these chats are literally just searches. It would be dope if you can have certain chats just automatically get deleted. Okay, well, all right, let's go ahead and share my screen so I can show the error that I'm dealing with. ChatGPT, oh, okay, never mind. Now it loads my chats. But yeah, I have like all of these chats that are basically nothing. And it makes finding things harder. So this is what we were working on yesterday. All right. Hey, how are you? I actually just talked about that. Scroll back a little bit. Just talked about what I was working on. It's not guaranteed that I'm going to work on much today, mainly because I should be having guests join me soon-ish. In fact, let me tell the folks that I need to tell them that I'm actually online. Oops, God dang it. All right, so, all right, so at some point, maybe folks will join, but until that point, let's do a little bit of code cleanup from yesterday. Open up my chat from yesterday. All right. Updates and next you. I don't care right now. We'll deal with that another day. But yeah, we'll keep this here. All right. I need to create a new Devlog thing. New document. Uh, 26. So we'll have task, then we'll have notes. So we'll do get PR ready to merge. And that means I should create the PR or make sure that it actually exists. Let's go to PRs. Addability. Okay, yeah. So this is failing because of environment variables. Right? Like it's looking for something that's like, oh yeah, I don't see that thing that you're talking about. Let me see if I can show that here. See, super base URL is required. So that's why it's failing, and that's an easy fix. But first, it looks like I gotta get my first guest up. All right, so let me get a link set up for him. Turn on interview mode. And I have 20 hours remaining. Perfect. So yeah, we're good. So I can copy that link. All right, so we'll do unmute the interview. We're gonna mute movies. All right. Now I gotta do a quick test to see if I can hear my soundboard. So I'm just gonna do something right quick. Huh? Nah. Huh? I can't hear it, which is not great. But I imagine maybe you can hear it in the stream. It kind of sucks that I can't hear it with my own stuff. I would like to be able to hear it. So I'm gonna have to revisit my audio settings one day. All right, so let me go back. We did this just so that I could, oh shit, what did I just do? Damn it. All right, dang it. Was it this one? Add ability, yeah. All right, so this is the PR. So I want to copy that and just put it there for my sake in the future. Okay. Open up Visual Studio Code. We'll also open up desktop. So let's go over some of the things that can be cleaned up. Oh, you hear it? Oh, perfect. Okay. Was it too loud? Sorry, I'm just not seeing your message. Is it too loud by any chance, or is it just right? Because the last thing I want is to scare the hell out of people if I'm like tapping on stuff. Like, here, I'll do one again. We'll do the wow. Is that too loud? Just right? Perfect. Cool. Appreciate it. See, this is really helpful, right? Like, for folks who don't stream, I don't know if you stream or not, but like, let's say you don't stream, or if someone's watching this and they don't stream, it's very, very, very hard. It's challenging. It's it's a lot of stuff going on that you don't get to see behind the scenes. And not only do I have to like do whatever work I'm doing, I also have to attempt to like be entertaining, which is, hard enough. But to also need to get shit done, also try to teach what's happening, and then run a show like production essentially. There's my audio, there's the background chats that I'm doing, all of the other stuff. All right, I see you. Give me a second. Let me add you as guest. All right, so you're gonna be guest 1, and then we're gonna go to my guest scene. What's up? Can't hear you yet.
Is mic working now?
I can hear you now.
Oh, for sure. Yo, what's up, dude?
Hey, how you doing? Give me 1 second to.
For sure.
I gotta deal with audio in order so I can hear
Oh.
you.
Okay. I'm gonna
Yeah.
connect my other headphones. Actually, 1 second.
All right, give me 1 second, I think. So my audio or the music should be really low, but hopefully it's not too loud in the stream. I can't hear the stream. That's why I'm saying hopefully it's not too loud. All right, go ahead and say something right quick, Chris.
Yo.
Yeah, I
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Nice. There you go.
Yeah. I'm
Dude.
having you go through
too
a
quiet?
separate channel. Huh?
Is my mic too quiet?
No, it's not you. It'll be too much effort to explain, but like the stream can hear you fine. I can't hear you fine because I have 2 separate mixes. And
okay.
yeah.
Damn. Dude. That's interesting.
Oh wait, there's an echo. So I think here's what we got to do. Typically the way I run these streams, let me turn down something right quick. Typically the way I run these streams is I have a Zoom and I mix in all the audio into just one. So that's what we're gonna do because someone's saying they hear an echo, and instead of trying to figure this stuff out live, we'll just do something that I know works. So I'm gonna send you a Zoom link. I want you to stay in Ecamm, but here's the move that you got to do. You gotta mute your mic in Ecamm, and you also gotta mute the tab in Ecamm. You're gonna hear we're gonna be talking through Zoom.
Oh, mute the tab. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So after I send you the thing, I'm gonna send you.
That's a good idea.
I'm gonna send you a meeting invite. So give me 1 second.
All
right. So we'll do that.
I wonder if I can turn my video. Oh, no, that doesn't matter. Okay.
Yeah. You keep your video on in Ecamm, but what you'll do is you'll stop your video in Zoom. We don't need to have video there. Yeah, so now I gotta get your audio into the stream. So give me 1 second while I do that. Well, wait, why is it impressive? Wait, hold on, wait. No one can hear you, so give me a second. So speaker, we're gonna add this into my Thunderbolt system. Let's go to, all right. Okay, so at the moment we have, all right, so yeah, I need to add you to black hole channel 2. All right, can you say something?
Testing 1 2.
All right, so you're here, but now I need to be able to hear you, so give me a second. All right, so what I think I should be able to do is take this and route it to myself, put it in an output channel.
How is the? Oh, I'll let you do that. Never. I'll ask this later.
Here. All right, say something.
Testing 1 2. Testing.
All right, you're in the stream. I still can't hear you, so give me a second.
What?
It's gonna have to go to what I've been doing in the past, which I didn't want to do, but
for sure,
we're gonna have to accept it. So give me a second, y'all. I'm gonna change some audio settings. You'll see what I'm doing now. It's fine. So instead of doing my channel 1, I'm just gonna give you a mix. Okay. So now there's only 1 channel coming in, and that's my bad. That's me being dumb. All right, now we have both channels, and say something. Wait. Before you say something, I gotta make sure I add you to the right output. Same as audio. Okay. All right. Say something for me, Chris.
1 2 1 2
All
1
right.
2 3.
Yeah, we're back to normal. So
There you go. Nice.
I can't have more than one. So I'm gonna axe the idea of having separate channels for different guests and just mix it all together. That makes my life a little bit easier.
It's interesting because when I talk, like you get muted on my end, or maybe it's just the music, like it stops. I'm so used to hearing the music, and then
Oh, you hear the music?
but it
Okay.
doesn't.
All right, I know what that is then.
No, it's
So-
all good. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's not a big deal at all.
matters
It's
to
just
me.
interesting.
It matters to me. I gotta fix it. All right, how about now?
1 2 1 2.
And if
1
I
2
talk,
1 2.
you can hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear
Okay,
you
do
great,
you still hear the music and all that crap?
Yeah,
Is
it's all good though.
Is it still
It's fine.
cutting out though?
It's relaxing. It's relaxing as hell.
Is it still cutting out?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
When I talk.
Okay, so then that sounds like that is your Zoom settings. If you go into
Oh,
audio, yeah. So
audio settings.
yeah, your audio settings. They have the
Oh.
original sound for musicians. Oh wow, they have new. Oh, dude. Oh, this
What's
is
up?
cool. All right, so I've just now discovered that I can have it where it only listens to certain channels. So instead of listening to all 22 channels on my interface, we can just listen to the first two, which is my microphone.
1 2 1 2.
So give me a second while I do this, and then we'll save and see what happens. All right. So hopefully you still
That's
hear me.
better.
Okay. All right. So this is a new setting. I don't know if you can. Well, you can't see my screen. Let me share my screen on Zoom. So that's the other thing is that if you look on the stream, it's always going to be behind by a lot. So you should be able to see my screen on Zoom now. You see this Windows setting.
Yeah.
So this new setting here, I'll share it with the stream as well, just so they can see. So this new setting is use specific audio.
Are you trying to show me Zoom? Oh, it doesn't show it. Oh, it doesn't show it. It's not showing to me at least because you're sharing a Zoom thing. I'll look at the stream though. I'll look at the stream.
Oh, it doesn't show. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
because we're in Zoom together. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
Okay,
then
I can see it in the stream.
that's it. That's all right. That's weird because it should be showing everything on my monitor, but that's okay. But yeah, it's on the stream now. There's this new use specific audio input channels. So in the past, the reason why I had to go through all of these hoops and hurdles is because Zoom it'll combine literally every channel on my interface, even though it's like, why would you do that? I have I have up to 22 channels on my interface. That's why I'm like, why? I don't want that. So what I did was I came here and I deselected all of these other channels. And you'll see it'll catch up at some point. So yeah, now I think we're good.
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense. I see that.
Okay. So then now I need to, I guess, mute the UAD because now I'm going to be using my mixing console from here on out.
This video quality on stream is impressive, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
Damn.
Yeah.
It is impressive. Damn. I can't wait to start streaming again.
Well, I mean, technically you're streaming now. I mean, you know.
I mean, yeah, true. No, I mean, like, bro. I mean, I haven't announced it. I don't know if I will announce I was laid off, but once I do that,
I mean, well, I guess you just did. Like, we were live. Just how we're live. You should.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
If you don't want certain
sure.
information, I would recommend it not
It's
say
already
it.
out.
Yeah, but it's okay. No one's actually watching. You're good. There are only like 7 people here. All right, cool. So I can go back to here, and yeah, let me make sure I close out these side conversations that I'm having. I was just complaining about how doing these live streams is a challenge, right? Like it's not just, oh yeah, turn on a camera and just share a screen. It's a lot of stuff in the background that goes on.
Yeah.
But how you doing this morning? It's morning time for you, right? Are you in Pacific time or Mountain
Pacific time? So it's
Okay.
10 a.m. I woke up at 5 today, or maybe it was close. Yeah, maybe close to 6. Worked out, walked my dogs for like 2 miles. I was actually about to go to the grocery store, and he messaged me. I'm like, we'll hop on.
Oh well, man, my bad.
No. This is great, dude. I'm just all I need to do is buy a rotisserie chicken. Hey, remember like we talked about before how I need to spend less money, so I'm just buying a bunch of chicken breasts.
You're gonna go to Costco?
Yeah. I was gonna call my mom to come with me to Costco,
Mm-hmm.
and when I FaceTimed her, she was already there. She went there without me, And I was like pissed. I'm like,
Well,
damn
I mean,
right.
at that point, this is where you just say, "Hey, mom, like, do you mind picking me up some of this?"
I didn't think about that. I'm used to doing everything on my own. That's a good point. Damn.
Well,
Damn.
in the future, right? In the future.
Yeah.
By the way, we got another guest coming. Just FYI.
Nice. Who's gonna be coming?
Pratik. I think you've seen him in a couple last streams. So yeah, he's coming on. He's from my RC entrepreneur group. Recur Center. Have you ever heard of Recur Center?
I have not.
He's a fellow Recur Center alumni. Give me a second. Let me copy a link for him as well. And there might be another one too. And like
Nice.
he's done some really cool stuff. He's in Vegas actually. I was telling him, I was like, because he's like, I would like to join next time. I'm like, oh, that's interesting because someone else from Vegas is going to be joining. I'm like, y'all can connect through a stream through your friend through Houston.
Yeah, no, that'd be cool. That'd be
Make
cool,
the
man.
role smaller, man. You know.
Yeah, no, for sure, dude. You know, I've been doing a lot of math recently, right? Math about just like financials, and I realized I'm making so one of the places I recommend people to learn code is Zero to Mastery, right? And I make them around $6,000 to $10,000 a month. I mean, I use them. I did use them. I don't use them anymore because I can code. I use more documentation now, right? But then I realized, damn, and I think I can do better than them.
Oh,
right. I'm working a tutorial already, and because I have dyslexia, so I know what people like me struggle with, right? So I know how to for that particular audience, and then help them learn. But I realized, damn, I could probably help more people learn and just use that as a full-time income. Because this company I interviewed at, they are offering to pay hella money, more than what I was making my last job.
So that means
but
that
they
you're
want me
worth
to move
10x.
to San Francisco.
You're worth 10x what they're willing to pay you, bro.
Yeah, it's
it's
an AI company that NVIDIA invested in, so it's kind of like, damn, the options, bro. You work at a startup. But dude, I don't want to move back to San Francisco, man. I really don't.
I heard that San Francisco is it's a little. I was in that area last month, I think. What month is this? I was there last month, and fortunately I don't really have to go to San Francisco that much anymore. Oh, we have Pratik.
Nice.
We have Pratik coming in. Give me a second. Let me assign him as guest 2. We're gonna have to create a new scene right quick, live on the spot. So give me a second while I do that.
Can you rap?
Yes, we're rapping now.
You know what I mean, bro.
I do know what you mean. That's where it came from. Talking,
Okay.
From someone from the culture.
You said you don't sing, but I didn't ask if you rapped. I don't remember if I asked if you rapped.
I don't do anything. I just talk shit. That's all I like doing. Talking shit it's like an art form where I'm from. That's what we do. All right, give me a second while I figure out how to add more than just us on here.
For sure.
All right, so I think I gotta unlock the cameras. All right. So people are probably gonna be like, oh wow, it's moving. It's yeah, we're moving. Pratik, you're gonna be on the bottom for now. Just because. All right, so we're gonna add a new camera. This is my first time having more than just me and someone else, so that's why I have to go through this little song and dance here. Sure. Pratik, I'm gonna send you. I didn't do that. Let me send you the Zoom so that you can join in on the audio. Make sure you do what you were doing last time.
I like Pratik's background.
Yeah,
That's
man.
clean.
He's
those books make you look so smart. I need to have books. I need to have books behind me. You give me that vibe. There's that one podcast with that billionaire, All in Talk. He has these books in the background. I'm like, damn. I know I can't hear you right now.
You can't because I had to add him to Zoom first. I'm trying to figure out how to. I don't think you can see this stuff because again, even people who are in the stream don't really you don't really know what's going on. All right, so I gotta stop the share because that's the only way I'm going to figure out how to be able to copy the link to this, or I can be smart and realize that I already copied it and I sent it to you. Look at that. So using my brain. All right, so once he joins in, you'll be able to hear him and all that kind of stuff, and you can, comment on how dope his audio and all that stuff is.
Hey,
what's up? How you doing?
Yo,
doing well. It was weird, like being able to hear you guys, but not being able to talk.
Are you listening to us on the stream? If so, make sure you mute like Ecamm or your stream.
Sorry about that. I just turned that off. Yeah.
All right, so
could you hear that? Could you hear that back?
No. I was just saying for you, so that because you were going to start to hear echoes.
Yeah.
And then I didn't want you to blame me and be like, I hear it. It's like, nah, this is user error. It's not me. It's not me. All right, so I think I got the stream. I got us all in here. Let me do a little bit of organization for my sake, just to make this a little bit easier on me.
Pratik, have you read all those books?
I have not.
Or
not
is that
all
for
of them.
looks? Okay, nice. So I'm the exact same way.
Yeah, I tried to, but I ended up just like buying them and collecting them. Gotta catch them all.
Well, yeah. Well, sometimes you buy books to read them in the future, right? Like you get it now, and it's more of a
with a goal to read them in the future.
I'm going to have it for a long time. So I'm actually really proud of the fact that all of the books that I kept, because I used to have a lot of books. I've read a lot of books too, but like here in this cadenza here, is every book in there I've mostly read. And the reason why I say mostly read is because I bought some new books in the past year that I've been going through, but I haven't actually gotten far into. Like I have that linear algebra book, the Coding the Matrix, I think is what it's called. It's really well written. It's really thorough, but I'm only on like chapter 2, which I'm actually going through it and working through it, doing all the labs and stuff.
This doesn't even show all the PDFs I have in my downloads folder.
Oh yeah, that's the other part. Yeah, the PDFs. It's PDFs, and then you have the Kindle. In my case, I have iBooks. They're all spread out in different places, and then I have the Audible stuff. There's even Audible books I haven't actually listened to yet. Just no time.
Damn. William, I got a question. How can I see Chris? I see you, but I don't see Chris.
Oh yeah, I don't see Pratik on.
Oh, okay. So all right. So it's unfortunate, but you're gonna have to do this. Hopefully, y'all are plugged in. Turn your cameras on in Zoom.
On Zoom, okay.
Yeah. Then you'll be able to see each other. And I guess I'll go and turn on my camera too. Suppose we'll do that. So here's me. Hello.
I need to use my. Oh, I can't turn on both. Damn, EOS webcam utility. Hold on. Let me turn on. All right, I'll just use my. Don't worry. Don't just ignore my background. That's not messy.
Well, so just so you know, it's only us that can see it. So no one else on the stream can see it. It's just us. So if you look on the stream, it's just we're all together on the thing on the top. But yeah, I mean, how y'all doing?
Doing good. We're live. This is great.
Yeah, it's this is the first time actually. I've never done 3 guests, and there might be 4 guests. And if the 4th guest does come on, then that means that I'm gonna have to re-edit the scene again, or create a new scene for 4 guests. And I'll also need to create a scene for if we ever share screens or whatever, that we'll be able to see it.
Jeez, dude.
Yeah. By the way,
it's good to see you, Pratik.
Pratik just got Ecamm.
Likewise.
Just FYI.
Nice.
Yes.
So, yeah, tell us about the experience so far.
To it, and I had a great experience. I'm not gonna lie, when you first open it and all those like floating windows pop up, it's a little bit intimidating. But they made it very easy. I set up YouTube and Twitch and just hit publish and boom. I did run into an error though, because like YouTube, I created a new account to stream on, and you have to like pair up a password, like a phone to like authenticate the account. And then after that, you get 24 hours. You have to wait before you can start streaming. So on YouTube, I'll be able to do it tomorrow, but
nice.
I was able to do it on Twitch.
Yeah,
I had my first stream this morning. Yeah.
But you didn't. It's not on VOD. So like,
it's not on VOD.
So it's like we can't call it. We can't say that it exists until it exists. But you actually know you recorded it. That's
yeah.
So he came in clutch.
Yeah. So yeah, I have proof. It did happen. That was nice that Ecamm just kind of did that. I had a question for you, Will. Like, Ecamm has its own like audio device that it creates.
Yes, you can install that, and
Okay. Do you use that?
I don't.
Okay.
It's the issue.
Because you do some fancy stuff with loopback, right?
Yeah.
To get
I'm
your
using loopback
system audio
to do a lot of different things, and there's a reason why. All right, so with Ecamm, and I was talking to Chris about this before you came on. What it'll do is it'll take my interface and it'll mix all of the channels into one channel. So, if I don't want certain things to be in there, well, it's going to be in there regardless. So the way I fix that is I use loopback to basically create my own channels and create my own, audio routes so that doesn't happen. But in your case, what I'm going to recommend is you start with that first. See if it meets your needs. Like, the last thing you want to do is have to do what I'm doing right now. Like, you don't want to do it. And
yeah, it seems to be working for me.
And what kind of Mac are you on?
I'm on it's a Ventura, Mac OS Ventura.
What
M1
kind
Max.
of? Oh, M1 Max. Okay, all right. The reason why I'm asking
on a Mac.
yeah. So he's on a laptop.
Oh.
For what? All right. So just FYI, when I first started doing these, I was doing it on my laptop.
Okay.
And literally all of these things, I can do it, but I was hitting at like 95% of utilization on my CPU and GPU.
Oh wow.
And I was doing like a lot of Docker, a lot of like having these web servers running, having Postgres running, having Redis running, because I'm developing, as well as doing the stream, as well as recording the stream. And that's what prompted me to get this M1 Ultra. Apple announced it, and they're like, oh yeah, M1 Ultra, it's literally double your M1 Max. Okay, here you go, Apple. Yes, I need that.
And
Wow.
I just got the M2 Ultra, and I had the M1 Max. And I'm giving it back to my job, but it is amazing. It's expensive, right? It's like $5,000, $6,000, but it's a tax write-off. And YouTube pays for it, thankfully. But yeah, it's great. So I'm excited. I definitely want to start streaming. Honestly, probably starting Monday, right? So it's exciting for sure.
That's awesome.
How do you guys know each other? Oh yeah, you said from what is it called? Something Recurse?
Recurse Center, yeah.
Recurse Center. Okay.
So me and William both went there. I don't think our batches overlap. I think we were we were both in 2018 though. But through an entrepreneurship side group through Recurse, we met there, and yeah, I appreciated his setup, and I was like, we got the same microphone. Let's hang out.
The SMB7 crew.
I know, right?
Is that what you're on, Chris?
That's cool. Yeah, SS7B. Actually, my company bought me another one I never used because I thought this broke, and so I got two, which is perfect because if I don't think I will move to San Francisco or to Houston or stay here, and now I can have legit podcasts in my house, so I'm excited for that.
Yeah, great for hosting guests.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited for that. I'm excited to do legit podcasts because my second channel only has 5,000 subs or something, and I mean each video is still getting 3 to 5K, if not more, views per video, not even including Spotify and iTunes. So damn, and podcasts are so much easier than doing a normal YouTube channel. So much easier. It's harder to edit actually because it's longer, but I love it. It's just literally just like this. You're just talking to people, chilling. So yeah. So
That's
are
awesome.
you a developer now, Pratik?
I am. I'm currently on a sabbatical, so I took some time off.
Oh, so you're rich. Okay, nice. Sabbatical. Okay.
It looks, I just have this one square of my house look good, and then it's all a cardboard box. But
Bro.
no, but yeah,
Tell
I'm
me-
just
oh, you can't see
I'm
my
giving
camera.
myself 18 months of just exploring new ideas, digging deeper into things I want to study more, and then I'll enter back when I think the time spent working on things and playing around with ideas is going to be well spent. So
I have a question. Who influenced you to do that?
I don't know if it was a single person. I think it was just
Okay.
a bunch of things at once, a bunch of people
Okay.
probably too. I don't know.
Yeah.
Even
No, for
Recurse,
sure.
the thing we go to, kind of encourages it, like taking sabbaticals.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Like to like do your own thing, build your own thing.
yeah, that's what Recurse sort of is. It's like engineers trying to get better at their craft, and they apply. If they get in, then you kind of pick like something you want to really dive deep into, and you learn it, and you share your notes with other people.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I think it was just like an overall zeitgeist that kind of influenced me. I don't think it was just one thing.
Yeah.
But what about you, Chris? It was, first of all, nice to meet you. And like, how do you know Will?
He's been stalking me for a couple of years, and then no, actually, interesting story. I wouldn't say I was close to joining, but like I was interviewing at his company for a manager role, and it was actually to be his manager. But now that I know Will, I'm really glad I wasn't going to be his manager, because he's an insane developer, incredibly good developer. But yeah, but then I backed out because I liked my company, and that company actually laid me off recently. But then yeah, so then after I was laid off, actually, no, it was just before I was laid off. Will DM'd me on Twitter, and then we just started talking ever since. And
Oh,
yeah, I mean,
that's awesome.
and yeah, it's kind of random though too, like out of nowhere. And actually, when Will DM'd me on Twitter, I thought he was asking me to join that company again, because I initially like rejected the continued interviewing. I thought he wanted me to join, and it was like, no, yo, I just want to say what's up. And so that was cool. Like when someone DMs me on Twitter and they're not asking for anything, that's honestly really rare in general, right? So my guard's actually up almost all the time, because whenever people like message me, email me, it's usually because they want something in return.
Yeah.
Will hasn't asked for one thing. Well, I guess joining on this live stream, but I don't consider that an ask, to be honest, right? Yeah, he hasn't asked for anything.
Well, let's just assume that I get it right. Like I've also gotten to a position where, I had to have my guard up, but I've gotten better. Where it's just like, most of the people who come to me, they come to me because what they see, and they're like, oh, this person can maybe do something for me. And I have a very strong sense of that now. So one of the things that like I know to do is just like, when you reach out to people, like don't ask for stuff, right? Like if you're going to ask for anything, ask how you can help them, right?
Yeah.
It's like the people who are in my life now, that's what they've done. They're like, hey, I see you're doing this. How can I help you? And just by virtue of that, like even if they can't help me, it's just the thought that matters, right? Where it's like, man, this person, the first thing they thought is like, how can they help me? Not like, what can I do for them? All right, now I'm probably willing to do shit for you, even if you never do shit for me. That's okay. It's because it's like, now I see that the mindset is in the right place. We're aligned. So a lot of the folks who I'm doing stuff with now, it's been that, like, it's not been this, oh yeah, they asked me, can I do something for them? Like, it's just like, yeah, let's hang out, or maybe show them something. Like if I'm fine with showing people how to do stuff. Like in fact, I enjoy it. It kind of gives me motivation to do things.
It feels good too. And like it's not like people can't ask me for help. I mean, now people pay to like talk with me, give me on these mentorship stuff, of course, because I can't just give my time away. But when it's a friend, when you actually become friends, you build that that relationship, and then you can when you start trusting them, whenever a homie needs, a friend needs, I'm always there, right? So yeah, it is interesting though, because I remember being someone that people just didn't know existed, right? And then now, I'm not saying, no, how do you say this? Now, it kind of feels like people see you like as something that you can, it feels like it, at least. I'm not saying this is always true, but it feels like it, where people just see you as something that they can like take things from, right? Rather than helping me in my life. So that's why my guard's always up. So it was kind of interesting how William just like, felt like I can trust this guy right off the bat. And more than anything, it was because of that freaking painting behind him. I'm like, damn, okay, this guy must be a nice, cool, chill dude.
So it seems like it works. So like, I've shared the story with him offline about, well, I don't know if I shared the details about it, but I was in Carmel when I bought that. And like I was captivated by it initially. It was being shown to another potential buyer. They decided they didn't want it, and they were bringing it back into storage, and it just happened to cross in front of me, and the light hit it just right, and I was just like eyes just kept tracking it. Fast forward an hour later, I ended up buying it, and it's like it's one of those things where it's not it's an original work. Let's just say that. So
Wow.
it's
an expensive piece of original work.
Yeah, but we can't talk about what it costs. It is expensive.
Let's not talk about that, right? We won't talk about that. I'm curious, right? Whenever I go in the store and people, even when I go when I bought my Tesla, people don't look at me like, like I can afford that, right? And when I say I'm gonna buy it, and they say when you have to you show your proof of income when you buy it, that's when their eyes kind of open up like, damn, I didn't expect that from you. I'm curious when you bought that painting, because anyway, yeah. So when you bought that painting, was there any particular reaction when you bought that? Were people like not expecting that?
No. Given where I was at that time for Monterey Car Week, like you're not surprised.
Oh, Monterey.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Like it's like, and I go there every year, so it's just like you're not surprised. Wait, there's an echo.
That's saying you're feeling an echo.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Someone's saying there's an echo here. Okay, give me a second. I gotta listen back.
Is it for everyone's voices or just one of us? I wonder.
About the chat. Okay, give me a second.
Where do you live, Pratik?
I'm currently in New Jersey.
Nice. New Jersey.
I used to be in Manhattan for most of my career, but
yeah.
Oh, I hear the echo now. Yeah. But yeah, I'm in a transition phase of my life right now, so I could kind of go in a bunch of different directions. I don't know where I'm going to end up next year.
Yeah. What kind of developer were you? Like, were you front end, back end, full stack?
Yeah, I started off full stack and then I switched to front end. Front end was sort of always my calling.
Yeah.
But now I'm kind of going back and forth again. But yeah.
Yeah. Damn, that's cool. I was a front end developer, and then I did jobs that hired me were back end, right? Even this other company, an AI company I might join, is about AI company. But then, like, I'm a front end guy, right?
Yeah.
So when I think of front end, I mean, it's been 3 years since I've written anything for front end. But when I think about it, I just know it's in and out, right? I know it so well. But when even to this day, running back end's so hard for me. And so sometimes I think maybe I'll go back in front end, but damn, AI is a feature. But damn, maybe I shouldn't work for anyone, just do my own thing.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I'm in a crossroads right now, because I have like I have about 4 weeks to make a decision of accept a job offer, move to San Francisco, join this company that can potentially, it just still has a low risk, even if NVIDIA is investing in them, to do really well and make me like a multimillionaire, like someone I know that joined a company that got acquired for 7.5 billion. Right? Do that or bet on myself. And I feel like that's the thing I should do, bet on myself, because it can do really well. And I feel like there's this one opportunity, it's one window I have to do that. But at the same time, it's like, damn, it's scary as hell, man. It's scary.
It is scary. It's probably the scariest thing I've done. I think you have to kind of ask yourself, like, one, like, is that money, how valuable is that money to you? Like, money's always valuable, but like, how valuable is it? Would you be willing to take a bit of a luxury, like, lifestyle pay cut for a little bit at least? There's this book called The Pathless Path, which I read, which also helped influence
Is it behind
me.
you?
That one, no. That one I have a PDF of.
Come on, dude.
I know, right? I should have it like advertised behind me. But that one, it talks about like taking a status tax. So when you're like leaving your job, you have to give up a little bit of status, because it's kind of part and parcel of what you're doing. But it's also like you can take a different route now to go forward. Like, it's not like you're taking the default path, the default career ladder, or default whatever. There's other ways to do things, and I think we all get that, because we all like know the internet, how it's radically changed so many things. But it seems like you already have something going for you that's doing pretty well.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, I do. I honestly, like, I was laid off a couple days ago, and I'm not worried, because I mean, my bills aren't that high. It's like 6,000. I don't know if that's high, but I'm about to get married next year.
That's an expense. Yeah.
We were gonna have a kid, but now that I might not go back to a W-2 job, we'll see. Maybe wait a year or so and just try this out, right? Because like, Like for example, I have like 13 to 16K in brand deals coming in next month. And
In what?
in
Brand deals, you said?
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
yeah,
Oh, wow,
coming in
that's
next
great.
month. But then, I mean, after taxes is different. But then, like, just I don't know, man. It's just scary. I don't know,
Yeah.
like, so that's good. Like, that's already more. I just need like, honestly, I probably need like 5K a month. That's it. But when I'm married, maybe 6K, and so that's more than enough. It's just damn committing to that is terrifying. And also, another thing is I need health insurance, which is expensive as hell. And my fiance, she needs it too. So she almost went deaf a couple months ago. And so I had
Oh.
to drop like 25 grand in the hospital to help her out in that. And so that's the thing, right? So health insurance, I think just
Wow.
for me and her alone would probably be like $2,000 a month. If I
Ooh.
did the self-employed route, that's why. So stuff
Yeah.
like that to consider, I guess, which scares me. Or she could just work. So
Well, so
you know,
like one of the things, what I'm hearing is like, there's one, you know, if you keep a job, what Pratik is saying, I wouldn't call it status. I think it's perceived status, right? Like let's be real. Like if you have to give your time for money, like how high status do you really have? I mean, we're all in the same boat-ish, kind of a little bit. Then the second part is, you know, like you're afraid to do something else, but I'm sure you heard like if there's no risk, there's no reward. So you have to accept some risk, like the unknown. What things could not go the way that you planned, but that's part of why the reward is greater. So sure, you could go get a job, but what's the reward? Well, you are capped out. There's this glass ceiling.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas if you do your own thing, sure, you could fail. Sure. Yeah. I mean, you could look at that. But you could also fail in a job. So what's the real difference? Well, the real difference is the glass ceiling doesn't exist. So while you can go and make, I don't know, 200, 300, maybe even 400K, and sure, you might be able to make, you know, a couple $1 million in the next 5-6 years, if there's an exit event. Well, is that really more than what you could do on your own? And for me, like now that I've had that experience of saying it's like, oh wow, I can make money without having to go to work, right? Like I don't necessarily have to trade time for money. So it's like it becomes a question of what am I getting out of the job? Am I getting more relationships? Am I developing a skill set that it would be like I could still develop it on my own, but of course it would be a lot slower and maybe it's not even that. When I say skills, I'm talking about like leadership skills. Well, you're not leading nobody if you don't have anybody around you, right? Or let's say negotiation skills for convincing people to do certain things. Well, if you don't have anyone to convince to do certain things, you're not going to really be able to develop that skill. Of course you can, but it's just more effort. Also, who do you meet? Like I was talking to someone at work, and I was like, one of the things that I look for in a company is like, I don't have to go out and search for people. Like I know how hard it is to find good people to work with. It's very challenging. Okay, I could just delegate that to someone else by virtue of a job. So they've done all of the, the pre-screen or whatever, and then from that I can select from that smaller pool. Similar to what we do with RC, right? Like, it's a what do you call it? It's a screening mechanism.
Self-selected pool.
Yeah. I'll outsource it. Oh, give me one moment. I think I'm getting a side chat. Give me a second.
Well, I'm also curious what fixed the echo.
Well,
was there an echo?
Somebody was saying there was an echo, but I didn't hear it.
I heard it very briefly for like a minute right after you mentioned it, and then it went away.
Do you hear it on like here on us?
Not anymore. I almost felt like I heard my own voice coming back from someone else's microphone.
Well, it could be. Well, I think I turned my headphones down to try to limit.
Oh, is it mine? Hold on, let me put my volume down.
But I don't hear it anymore. Like I haven't heard it for the past 5-10 minutes. So.
Oh, okay.
Do you have open back headphones too, Chris? No, you don't.
No, I don't.
So it's me and Pratik. Like we have, if we turn them up too loud, or even not even that loud, like you can hear it. So whatever I hear, if someone's standing next to me, they hear the same thing because they're open back. And I have another pair of open backs that I'm not wearing. The Odyssey. Hey, did you hear that Odyssey got acquired by Sony?
No.
Yeah. So I'm just like, oh, okay. Well, maybe I should go ahead and purchase another pair of headphones before they go to die. So it turned into like gaming
Wow.
headsets. Yeah, so all right, so we were talking about like this whole like, you know, choosing between work or
Yeah.
you know, going on and pursuing your own thing. And I guess the real question is, what do you think is going to be more fulfilling?
My own thing. I mean, all right. So I have 16K in brand deals. That's not including affiliates or
Ignore the
AdSense,
money.
right?
The money
My
doesn't
sales.
matter. Let's say that you don't even make
Damn.
money. Like you make the same amount. You could go work, or you could do your own thing.
I wouldn't if I made, okay, if I made the same amount, because I wouldn't be happy.
Yeah,
with
if you keep all things
kids
equal.
struggling.
If you keep all things equal.
I feel like
my
that's an
own-
easy answer, right? Then you would
Yeah,
definitely.
my own thing. Well, I know I could do it. To be honest, I know I could do it. Right? Like I just started the mentorship program last week, and it's already bringing in, and it, you know, like 300, 400, maybe 500 every 2 weeks in, right? So that alone is just like an extra $1,000. So like I know I can do it, and I'm not even selling digital products yet. So it's just a fear thing, man. But yeah, doing my own thing for sure. My
And then,
happiness
so-
because sorry, what's up?
No, I was just gonna ask you, like, so I'm a finance numbers guy like you too. Like you were kind of breaking it down. I was thinking that too. And my question for you is like, how long, if you had to give yourself a time frame, how long do you have a runway? If you were to step away, you maybe think of it like you're not always leaving corporate or, you know, a
Yeah.
W2, but how much breathing room do you have?
Well, right now I make enough to survive on YouTube.
No. Like let's
You
say
mean
you
like-
let's say you lose all income, right? Are you okay for the next 6 months, year, 18 months,
I think
2
I
years?
I can be okay until December.
So about 3 months. Is August?
It-
4 months? 3
Damn.
months. It's September almost.
It's already almost September.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Time flies. September.
So 4
October,
months.
November,
Yeah, if everything stops, and it's not, right? Yeah, so I'd say, and yeah, it's not including tutorials I'm working on, right? But yeah, I'd say
I guess
until
that could still
December.
be working for you, but I mean more like the W2 if that goes away.
Yeah.
Like would you be able to self-sustain for quite a bit of time
Mhm.
with insurance and everything else?
I would probably sell my car. That's it, which is fine. I only need my car literally for grooming for my dog, so I'll just get a mobile dog groomer. To be honest, still cheaper than the car, right? So yeah, to be honest, it would be enough, right? I'd upload more videos, right?
Yeah.
I'd probably lower my rate for sponsors so I can get more rather than rejecting a lot of them, right? And then my own tutorials, which would go a long way. So yeah. And you know what? That status thing too, it is interesting because I was so pissed with how I was laid off. I haven't signed an NDA yet, so I could talk about this now, which is perfect. But I was so pissed at how it happened. I'm going to receive an offer to that other company on Wednesday, and it would be so nice that my last day at that company, I tweet out on social media, I'm excited to announce that I'm joining this other company on that day, that my official day of being laid off, right, which is next Friday. So it's kind of that kind of a status thing too, which I didn't think about as a status thing, but it's kind of that petty side of me, like F you, I don't need you.
Well, I'm
And I
gonna say
wanted to
this.
do-
I'm gonna warn you against that. That's not status.
Yeah.
That's ego. There's a difference. Don't
Yeah.
conflate them.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
Yeah.
and there's this saying, pride comes before the great fall.
Mm.
So it's like you could do that,
Mhm.
or you could say, you know what, like maybe you look at it in this perspective. They're freeing you to go and do your own thing, because it sounds like you wouldn't have done it if you still just worked there if they didn't lay you off. So by
Yeah,
laying you off,
that's
it's an
true.
opportunity. They've given you an opportunity to take your time and focus it on yourself to do whatever you want to do. Or you could look at it, it's like, oh yeah, F you. It's like, huh? So like, let's say like, sure, I can look back at like all the companies I've left and be like, oh yeah, like here I am doing this. Or I could look at it, it's like, all right, well, I left this and that enabled me to go out and do these other things, which enabled me to eventually meet Pratik, which enabled me to eventually meet you, and we're talking here today. Like, I wouldn't look at it and be like, oh yeah, like F you. Like, at the end of the day, like you wouldn't be here if that didn't happen. It's part of your story.
That
And
is
it's
true.
like, I mean, when you look at most successful people, bad things happen, but I guarantee you, if you were to ask them if things were to go again, would they want that to be different? Chances are it'll be no, because they understand that they wouldn't be where they are if they didn't have those other things that happen. So it's like, be grateful, you know, like you had an opportunity to do the thing. Sure, you got laid off. A lot of people get laid off. I would say millions of people get laid off.
Especially the last year. No, that makes sense. Actually, I wouldn't be where I am today if I wasn't laid off 3 years ago. I would still be in that company, right? Making like 60, 70K a year, struggling paycheck living in California, right? But it was after being laid off from there is when my income like skyrocketed. So that's a good point.
So maybe the same thing happens, right? It's after you get laid off, now your income skyrockets.
Yeah, it definitely is an ego thing. No, thanks for pointing it out. That's definitely an ego thing. Damn, I didn't even think about it like that when you're in the moment. It just happened a couple days ago, right? So it's a good point.
Yeah, well, I've had a lot of time to, reflect. I took, I called myself going into retirement. At least I thought I could. I didn't listen to my mentor at the time, where he's like, what are you going to do?
You told me about this.
Yeah, like, what are you going to do? I'm like, whatever the hell I want to do. I didn't understand at the time. My mentor was a lot older than me. He's like close to 80. And I was just like, I don't know, I'm going to just go travel. And I did go travel. He's like, oh, well, I'm going to go do race cars. And I did do that. And then after a while of doing that, I found myself doing more and more stuff, like trying to build stuff, not necessarily to make money. It's just like I was getting bored. Yeah. Of course, when you're in the moment, you don't think that boredom is a thing that will ever happen. You're like, oh, I'll just get a new thing. Diminishing returns, right? Like eventually that new thing is just like, okay.
Fill in the void.
Yeah. And I guess it came full circle when I bought supposedly a dream car. And instead of going to go pick it up immediately, I was in Egypt. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna keep doing myself over here. And then I eventually went. And even once I went, I didn't really drive it that much. When I did drive it, it was dope, but it's just like, I started to really understand what he meant. So I started focusing on building this side thing that I have going on. It was that project that, which is I think how we met, Pratik, the entrepreneur group, and I started out doing this project called Post Supply. And next thing you know, I'm busier than I was when I had a job, but I wasn't feeling I'm doing too many things. I don't want to do anything. So, I ended up learning a lesson, which is you got to do something. And if you're going to do something, if you must do something, all things equal, which one is going to be the most fulfilling? Right? Sure, you can look at money. I can tell you as someone who has money, I feel sorry. It's fool's gold. Sure, you'll get it. And then you'll realize that there's someone much richer than you. Sure.
There's always.
But there's levels, bro. I thought I was doing well until I went to my first Carmel event at the Jet Center. And I'm sitting in a private jet with a lady who's explaining the difference between 0.9 and 0.96 Mach. San Francisco to New York, it's an hour quicker. And in my mind, I'm just like, but then when she starts breaking down, all of the things she's doing, I'm like, okay, this lady is making in a day what my net worth is.
Holy
so it's at that point, it's all right, how about I not focus on money? Which, it's easy to get in that hole where you're thinking about money, but let's be honest. When you meet people with money, you realize that they don't really care about money like that. Money is just a thing that's there. There are folks who I know who don't even know their net worth. They don't know how much money they make in a day. And that's how it's, because, it's in the hundreds of millions. They have, it's like state wealth almost, where it's just you just have money, it exists, you get what you want, that kind of thing. And it turns out they have the same problems we do. So that tells me that money is okay, that's it. It's just a resource. It buys you time, but after a while, you still only have those 24 hours that everyone else has. So it's what's going to fulfill you? And it sounds like, if you were to be successful on your own and, you'll get that confidence boost, that sounds like it'll be a lot more fulfilling than, oh, I got this job and it exited. And sure, it exited, but you didn't do that. That's a bunch of people. And if your thought is after I make my exit, I'm gonna then go back and work on my own thing, and that tells me that that's the thing you really want to do in the first place, is to work on your own thing.
I think more than anything, it's yeah, fear of missing out, you can say, but I don't want to regret not trying it too, right? Tech will always be there. Right?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like you can always get a job. That's the
Yeah,
thing.
right? Yeah, even in the midst of like, I don't know if we're still in a tech recession, but even in the midst of a tech recession with all these layoffs, people losing their jobs, you still get a job, which is crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think we're really blessed and grateful in that way. Like our skill sets aren't going anywhere. Like we can always kind of come back in if we need to.
I think my biggest fear is if I move to San Francisco, my rent will at least double. And then if I'm not happy there and I'm stuck there for at least 12 months or so, right? Then I have to make even more income. Well, my rent here is pretty low, right? $2,000 a month, which is not bad for a 3-bedroom house. And I only use the living room and my master bedroom. So this house is already too big for me. I'm in Las Vegas.
Okay.
Yeah, Las Vegas. So it's pretty cheap here. It's a steal. And then normally this house that I'm in right now is like $3,000 a month, at least minimum in this area. So
Oh wow.
it's affordable. No state income tax. If I do my own thing, I don't have to pay state income taxes like New Jersey.
Oh yeah. Tell me about it. Yeah.
No.
Give me a second, guys. I forgot that I'm supposed to tell Russell that we're streaming.
So the guy that lives in Vegas?
Yeah. When you said Vegas, every reminded me. I was like, oh yeah, and then we go do the thing. Otherwise, they'll be talking. She'll be like, oh, he said he'll do this, and he didn't.
Yeah.
All right. So maybe he'll join. I don't know. I had to send it through we have like our own like recurse thing, but I don't know if actually. I don't know. Yeah. I had to log in like, and then there's this code. I'm like, oh my gosh, I forget.
It's overwhelming.
I said that I would try to use it more. Did I tell you that? I think I told you that. Yeah, I haven't used it since. Like I was just like, once I got your number, I'm like, I'm gonna just text you, bro. All right, sorry about that. Yeah, I was halfway listening, but I won't interject too much. I'm sorry.
No worries.
So where are you at now, Chris? What are you thinking?
Me?
Yeah.
I mean, I have enough money to last right now. Like right now, let's just say shit goes down the drain. I'm good enough until December, right? I'm still gonna be. Well, I think more than anything, my goal is, I want to see what the offer is, the actual final offer.
That's fine.
I just want to see it, right? On when I receive that on Wednesday, but I don't want to move to San Francisco, dude. I was Googling BART station attacks. That's a train station, like the subway in New York, in the Bay, and you know, like how more than half of the people that live in the Bay don't take the BART anymore because they don't feel safe. And the places I was looking at, because I just want to lower my cost of living as much as possible, is like it's a studio for $2,000 a month, because I don't need anything. And I would have to take the BART to work 2 out of 5 days a week, and just seeing that's not safe there. It used to, because I used to live there and it felt safe. So now that people are saying it's not safe, kind of changes things for me.
That was like another factor of it for me. It's like you work at a job, you spend all your time working there, you get a high salary, half of it goes to taxes, and then you end up living in a studio for like $2,000 plus in an unsafe area, and it's just like, what are you really getting for your time, right?
Yeah.
So because when I was in New York, it was somewhat similar. Like I was living in a shoebox, paying like $3,000 a month, and I don't know, it just felt like I was trading off a lot of things. And on paper, every year my salary goes up a little bit, and it keeps me engaged, and you get that dopamine hit. But
yeah,
I was just like, if I had to really value the dollar and adjust it for my happiness, like benchmark it against that, what was it really getting me? So that made the calculation a little easier.
I have
talking about.
I want to interject. We have someone in the chat who dropped a message, and I want to add it to our broadcast. You will see it in the live stream if you're monitoring. But he says, "Living it by owning it. The path to success is enormous. If you enjoy the path, you'll remember the way back in a way to say building it, doing some restoration." So it sounds like people.
Sounds poetic.
Yeah. So just wanted to share that. There's someone from the chat. And I think it was in regards to like this, building your own thing or going back to your job. But yeah,
how many people can say they built their own thing too, right? Not a lot. Damn.
But a lot of us can say we have a job. So it's just like when you that's why I say it's perceived status, because it's like, well, if you've just gotten the thing, and this is why I like to remove money from the equation, because it doesn't matter at that point, because it's like you have a job, they have a job. Like you have to trade your time for money, they have to trade their time for money. What's the difference? I will tell you, when I was when I was doing my own thing for a little bit, I would go out and hang out with my friends, my buddies or whatever, and we'll be at like these very, very high end golf courses, like a country club kind of thing, right? There are people there, they come on their lunch break and then they have to go back. Are they actually higher status than the person who's there and they're just looking? I'm just looking at, I'm like, oh, you have to go on your lunch break. Like you get to come here for maybe 2 hours and you got to go back to work. It's like, sure, they have a high salary or whatever, but this is why I like to get away from salary, because it's like, it doesn't really matter. It's not about how much money you make. Anyone can make anything. It's how much money you keep. If you make $1 million a year and you keep $900,000 a year, you're better off than someone who makes $2 million a year, but they spend $2 million a year.
Yeah.
Like you're still paycheck to paycheck. So it's just like, that's why I say, like, don't worry about how much money you're earning, you're bringing in. How much are you keeping? What are you doing with it? Is it growing? Is your runway growing? Like, I mean, for me, I feel uncomfortable when my runway is under 18 months. I'm at about 13 months, which is uncomfortable. And so in my mind, I'm like, well, I have to work until I get my runway back up to about 18 to 2 years, 18 to 2 months, or I'm sorry, 18 to 24 months. So it's a very different mindset where it's just like, all right, yeah, I can focus on the income part, but that's the least important part. It's the discipline to not spend all your shit, so that you are able to, I guess at a point where you get to a year of runway, you'll understand that there's a difference. If you get to 18 months to 2 years of runway, you'll see there's a big difference. And it's just like when you're making money off of your assets and not trading your time for money, it's a big difference. And it didn't really click for me until it started happening, where it's like, oh, okay, this is what those old people were telling me. It's like, if I don't buy this bullshit over here and I instead go buy this thing that I think is boring, maybe in 5 years it'll start to pay me more than my salary at work. Oh, and by the way, that's tax free. So it's like when you say I make whatever, I'm like, oh yeah, but you pay taxes. You pay more taxes to me, bro. I don't know if you know that. You pay more taxes to me. So it's like, yeah, your number seems higher, but like in reality, like it's not. So if you focus on putting your money to somewhere else where like you get the benefits of tax shelter, you get the benefits of, inflation's happening. Well, guess what? Well, you can raise your prices, you can raise your rent. Like if you have, I don't have a lot of stocks, but if you have stocks, they tend to inflate too, So it's just like, if you're making money that way, that's I think that's what you're really after. At least that's what people should be after. But I think a lot of people want to appear rich, right? Like, I'll go buy this thing so then that was
me for like the longest time, right? Obviously that changed. For me, my runway was always I just need 3 months, because all I need is a month to get a new job, right? But now I'm in a situation, I'm like, all right, I want like a 2-year runway now, and etc. And talk about money though. To be honest, if I don't have to live in San Francisco, let's just say I had to work a W2 job, right? Even if I'm not making like 200 plus a year anymore, if I can stay where I'm at now, where I live in Las Vegas, super low cost of living, even 100K, to be honest, even 80K, which is fine. I could do that on my own without a W2 job, but like, that's when I started thinking of it that way, I started realizing maybe the San Francisco thing isn't going to happen. But again, I'm just waiting just to see that offer, right? Negotiate. And if they're not willing to be honest, even if they're willing to negotiate, I am definitely feeling like 70-80% towards just doing my own thing. I'm already doing it now. I'm working on things already just to prepare for that. So
yeah, I mean, definitely like write it out, get that data point so you have like a bigger picture, more, you can make an informed decision. And the thing is, like, when I quit my job, I didn't think of it as me quitting my job. I almost thought of it as me giving myself a promotion. Like, now I get to manage myself. I became a manager, right? Like, I get to manage my own time.
Oh, you're a CEO now.
I'm a CEO of I'm like, hell yeah. And I got this like top tier engineer that I can do whatever I want with. Like, I have all this time, like, and the thing is, like, yeah, I mean, I gained a lot of knowledge and expertise from my like 10 years in corporate. Like I wouldn't trade that for anything. But I think it needed to be balanced with me being self-driven and self-motivated. I needed like a little bit of that fire under my ass. Like I want to go get that hunger again and be like, all right, I got to make ends meet. One of the black books back there on the right-hand side, like there's a quote in there. The 3 most addicting things in life are carbs, heroin, and a paycheck. And the paycheck thing, definitely very true. Like you just get so reliant on it. It's like the steady drip you're getting of juice. And you're like, I was like, buying the little bit of extra for everything. I might not have needed it. I was being a little bit careless with my money too, because I had enough. And I think this is like an ego recession for myself, where I was like, all right, like what do I actually need? Do I need those 10 subscriptions? Like I just had to do a little bit of like cleaning up, and I like that. It made me a little bit sharper. And I thought I was getting a little bit duller by not having had to do that exercise.
That's actually, so like when I'm looking to moving back to San Francisco, I have a lot of things. Holy crap. And when I was looking at the studio and I was thinking about what do I really need? I don't even need my bed. I'll just bring my couch, my desk, one TV, and my computer. That's it. My camera equipment for YouTube. And that's literally all I need. And I started thinking about, damn, all these things I bought. It's not necessary. Of course, it's, you want to fill up your house, make it feel like actual home. But yeah, no, I was literally processing through all of that the last week and a half. Exact same thoughts coming through my head. So, and actually, before losing my job, I had a lot of debt. And then I got mad at myself when I started budgeting, and I'm like, all my money's going out, like $10K a month in bills, supporting my parents. And I told myself I got to change that. So I sold a bunch of things. I paid off all that debt in, I think, 3 months. Right when I finally debt free. Not that I have my Tesla. I still don't regret that Tesla though. Other than my Tesla, I have nothing else. Right, no debt, no credit card debt. And as soon as I paid off everything, have 3 months savings, boom, laid off. Which still worked out though, because now I don't have that much expenses. Pretty chill. I'm definitely all in for not looking like you have money, living way below your means. Yeah, that's definitely a smart choice long run. I do wish that sometimes I learned it sooner, but better now.
Yeah, you can learn it. Never. What's interesting? So I texted. I think you texted me earlier this morning, Pratik, and I was like, I'm just now waking up. I had a late night. Well, I had a late night because I was with one of my friends. He's a little bit younger than me, and like I remember telling him like, we should like don't do certain things or whatever. Like that cars won't really bring happiness. It's like I'd rather travel. And me and my buddy, we had came back from T, and we saw him, and he has I'm a list of cars. All right, a Bentley Continental GT, the new one, the what do you call it? The Lamborghini Aventador STO, the new one, the one that just came out. 992 GT3 RS, the new one, as well as his Jeep. And he also lives here, where our rent is relatively expensive. And he was just like, man, like I kind of wish I could just like go travel, like just go somewhere. He's like, but I feel broke. And I'm just like, you're looking like that, and what I'm trying, it's the same point that I was making earlier, where it's just like, if you get tied into this, how much am I making? Who gives a fuck? Like, it doesn't matter. There's so many NBA players who made $100 million in their career and they're worth nothing. So it's just like, it's not what you make. Are you building the discipline? Are you building the mindset to where whatever you are making, that you're putting it to use, that you're living below your means? So it's like let's say for instance, someone came and they're like, hey, we'll double your salary. It's like, well, okay, sure. That won't really change much. Sure, I'll take that extra money, and like for me, it's a little bit tax free. I'll just put it into businesses, because guess what? You get to write off that from your income. So if you make 200K, and you know that 200K you're going to be making about 120K after taxes, well, that 80K, most people just pay that to the government, which is why they stay where they are. If you're a little bit smarter, you'll invest that in your businesses or buy assets to reduce your income. So now you've reduced your tax tax
But that
bracket.
wouldn't apply to your W-2 income though, right? Because like last year,
the way it's your income, it's you pay taxes on your income. That's how this works.
because I have an LLC right now, and they tax me both my LLC income and my W-2.
Well, yeah,
And
you're
I thought-
gonna pay taxes on that, but you
Yeah.
get to write off a lot of things on your income, so you reduce your tax bracket overall because they're all a pass-through entity. They pass through to you. So like, you can make it complicated. I like to make things. I like to remove all of that. At the end of the day, it's your income. That's what you pay taxes on. And if if the government is giving you ways to reduce that income, well, then you get to not pay tax on that at the same rate. So yes, you're right. You're still gonna have to pay taxes, but your income tax is 30%, 35%, whereas the taxes on your entity is not that. So let's say that it's 25%, which it's not, but let's just pretend that it's 25%. That's still less than 35%. So it's like, it's not really like, zero tax, but it's so far less than what it would have been, which is when you start to like think about your overall tax situation. You look at the fact that, hey, like my effective tax rate, which is why I say you pay more taxes than I do. My effective tax rate is, well, it's not in the singles, but it's close to the single digits.
Well, that's nice.
And I make a little bit more. I mean, sure, you could say screw me, but it's like, it's a decision, awesome, right? It's a decision. Yeah. It's a choice. You can go and buy a bunch of shit that, or you can go and invest in your businesses or other things where you can reduce your income. And it seems that most people, what they would instead do is they chase status. They want to appear rich. And I learned this the hard way. Well, I don't know if it's the hard way, but like when I moved here and I bought my car, I paid cash for my stuff. And when I started meeting people and they're like, oh, they live paycheck to paycheck. I'm like, oh, you have to work. So it's just like, yeah, they appear like they're in a good financial situation. And some of them are, right? Like some of the folks who are really wealthy, all their stuff come from their assets. So what they'll do is like, they'll go get a loan, which is cheap money. The cost of money is relatively cheap. That they'll go and buy something. They get to reduce their income because, they bought something with the loan. It's their money. Like, so it's like they spent it. So they reduced their income, but they have this loan that's now, that's leveraging this asset that's making more money to pay for the actual loan, but also to pay for other things. And all of that's tax-free. I'm saying tax-free in the sense that like it's substantially less than the taxes you pay as a worker, right? Like you're paying Social Security, you're paying Medicare, you're paying, you pay taxes every month. Like if you own your own entity, and I know you know this, like you do your taxes every quarter. So even that little 3 month period, like you could do something more. I actually do
it only once a year, but I pay that little small percent in taxes, or fee. There's a fee for only doing it once a year than every quarter. But yeah, no, it is nice, right? The things I've been able to write off, especially with my side income, and I do look forward to that, man. And like I can when I get married, employ my wife under my business, etc. It's exciting if things work out for sure.
Well, they haven't worked out, or they haven't not worked out. Is that a double negative? Does that even make sense? So it's just like I'm pretty sure if you keep going, at the end of the day, we all get to where we need to go, whether it's whatever the number you have in your head is or not. Like I don't think that should be the point. It's like it's a journey. Are you enjoying the journey? Did you learn some things? Were you able to pass that knowledge on to others so that others don't have to make either the same mistakes or they can stand on the shoulders of giants? It's really that. Like again, like this is stuff that I didn't think this way all the time, but through the help of my mentors and all the folks around me, as well as going to Peru and doing some things in Peru and others, it's just like I now look at things very differently. And I'm like, okay, what I used to chase was money. And when I got into my 30s, I stopped chasing money and I was like, okay, I need to grow this number over here. Like, and by the time I'm 40, then sure, I can go and buy all these dumb things that I was buying in my mid 20s. Except now they are basically free. Right? Like it's earned money from these assets, tax free. And it's like, you go do this. And I was explaining to my buddy last night, because he was like, I want to learn how to make money in my sleep. I was like, well, I can teach you how to do that, but it's going to be a question of how bad do you really want it, right? Like some people just aren't willing to do that. Like say for instance, you make 200K, live off of 80, spend 120K into your businesses. so that you effectively are making 190K because you're not paying those taxes. And you're purchasing whatever. My vehicle is real estate. Let's say you purchase real estate and you're able to get a cash on cash return of 10%. Cash on cash return of 10% on $100,000 is $10,000 a year. But that's just on the cash on cash return. You also get your equity, right? Like your mortgage, your renters are paying that. The interest that you pay on that loan, well, you get to deduct that from your income. Hint, hint. So you're getting advantages. The property.
Wait, hold on. The interest you pay on that loan. Oh shit.
Yes. Okay. You get to deduct that from your income, and then you get to depreciate the asset. So in our country, you get to take 80% of the purchase price. That's considered the property, like the structure. You divide that by 27.5, and that's what you get to depreciate against your income every year. That number, whatever. So it's like if you bought like a $500,000 house, and you depreciate, what's 80% of that? It's like $400,000. You divide that by 27. What is that, like, I don't know, like 2,000 or I don't know. I can't do the math. Someone do the math. You divide that by 27.5. Whatever that number is, you get to deduct that from your income.
Yeah. And
it's like you're also building equity in the house, but it's not you paying for it. It's your renter. And there's also the appreciation if that happens. If it happens, great. If it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, you have this thing making you money and it's spinning off 10K a year. Like, if you want to make money, that like this is how you turn your, like, if you have a $500,000, that's how you turn it into $2.5 million in net worth. 5-7 years, rinse and repeat. You take whatever you've earned, like you're going to get back a pretty big check if you sell, because at this point now the banks are looking at this as a business, right? Like you're getting monthly revenue and it's growing year over year. They will give you a loan based on that. And then you can take that and go buy, I don't know, $10-15 million worth of real estate. Yeah. Now you're worth $10-15 million. And let's say your cash on cash return on that, let's say you get back all your money, you get back $2.5 million. Well, that's $250,000 a year that you're making. Mostly tax free, right? Yeah. That may be the job that you're trying to get, right? So like that's the option, right? Like you can say, oh, I'm gonna go chase this job, which is what most people do, right? Like if you want to be like most people, do that. You go get the job. Mm-hmm. Or you can look at it as like, all right, well, if I have money, I'm going to go and buy these other things. And if I do get a job, I'm getting this job just so I can shovel this money over here and protect it from taxes. And there are other ways, there's like the exchanging. So like if you buy another property, you can roll all of that into another thing and not pay tax on that. There's so many things that you could do. By the way, I know a little bit about, I did some graduate school in finance, so I know a little bit about the finance thing.
It definitely seems like you're into real estate.
I'm into not paying money to the government that got rich from enslaving my ancestors. That's what I'm about. So it's just like, the rules are in front of you. They're public. That's the rules of the game. You can play by the rules, and take advantage of them. That's what other people do. So it's like, if they can do it, why can't I? Right.
Do you do things other than real estate, William? Like
I had stocks,
maybe some other businesses.
I had stocks at one point. Okay. I'm not gonna lie, I had a lot of Tesla stock. I bought a shit ton when I had just graduated college. Also after GitHub was acquired, I bought even more. And then obviously I have Microsoft stocks because of that, but I don't use them. Like it's just like I don't care. Like I don't even look at that as like mine per se. I'm like that's for William at 60 if he makes it to 60. If not, then that's for whoever else, like whoever comes after me. What I'm trying to do now is to like build a business, but I'm going to have to work until I'm 40 to do that. The reason why is because I chose to not do I waited a little bit too long. Like I decided to start at 30 instead of when someone was telling me to do it at 26. So, it's not just a 4-year behind, right? Because it's the time cost of money. Right. So like, because I waited, I have to now work until I'm 40 to get to that same thing. So I could have got to where I wanted to be at 43 because I decided to, fuck off for 2 years. I had to wait until I'm 50, which is okay. Sure. So like, instead of being on my path to like being worth 20 million, actually it would be closer to 38 by now. I'm still in my like, okay, I'm at like.
When you say that, you mean if you stayed at GitHub?
No. I'm saying if I had listened to the people around me and did exactly what they told me to do,
yeah,
I would be on my path. Like, let's say like year 4 out of 7 to my path of being worth $38 million on paper.
Do you mind sharing what they told you to do?
Essentially, don't buy a bunch of bullshit. Start a business. Some of the stuff I listened to, some of the stuff I did, fortunately, thank God I listened at some point. But like, it was like, start a business. Don't buy a bunch of stupid shit. That's the part that I did. I bought a bunch of stupid shit. I spent $800K on cars. Fortunately, I still have a little bit of money, but it's like if I hadn't did that, I would have been,
value
somewhere
cars
else.
go down too.
Well, I made money on some of mine, and that's another thing I was talking to my friend about. He's like, oh, well, I can sell these cars and make more money. I'm like, yeah, you're right. I made $100K on my G-Wagon sale, but that's $100K versus being 4 years out of 7 to 38 million. Like, all right, let's just be real. Which one's a higher number? Which one actually is status? Right? Is it the 38 million, or is it, oh, I made 100K on this car? Oh, like on my GT3, yeah, I made like 15K. Okay, whoop-de-doop. It's not that it's such an insignificant amount of money to me now. It's just like, okay, now I know to listen to what they're telling me to do, and if I stay on track, I'll get there at 50. Whereas had I listened, I would have been there at 43. But as we all are, when you're young, you want things now. You think you should be able to get things now. There's a lot of entitlement. It's like, oh, I worked hard, I deserve this. And some people had to learn it the hard way. Guess what? I'm one of them. I had to learn it the hard way. And now, it's fine. Like, yeah, I'll still get there. It's just I'm a little bit farther back. But at the same time, I'm probably a lot closer than most people, simply because I decided to listen, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. Hopefully that answers your question. It's it's invest in business. It's basically do what you can to not pay taxes.
Amen.
Yeah, taxes. It's when I look at if I moved to California, just the amount of taxes, like 70, 80K going straight to the government, is insane. Like that's so much in taxes. Oh my gosh.
It's crazy when I would see so much going off my paycheck, and then still every like 6 months I had to go in and make like a $20,000 check because it was like estimated payments you had to make. Because of like at Meta there was like RSUs and stuff. So yeah, it was just like, how much am I paying? Like what? Like it's crazy. It felt like robbery.
It does feel like that.
Is it
it
not?
definitely feels like that.
And that's the other thing, right? Like, if let's say for instance you're going out and buying stuff, right? Well, you're doing that post-tax dollars, so it's even worse. That's money that you paid taxes on first, and then you go buy the shit, and then you pay sales tax. Whereas you could have bought the shit tax-free, like before all the taxes or whatever, to get you down, so you're getting taxed on a smaller amount. But this is something like a lot of folks don't really learn about money. Like, they don't really understand how it works, like the cost of money. Money has a cost, right? And a lot of people aren't thinking of that. They're just thinking, oh, I have this and I should just go spend it, right? I guess the flip side of that is the time value of money. When you were in your 20s, your money was worth a lot more than it is today. You can do a multiple if you just want to roll a thumb, right? You could do a multiple of like, all right, you have $1. If you're in your early 20s, that $1 is technically worth 10, right? You come up with your own multiple. The point is that it's worth an order of magnitude because it's exponential growth, right? So it's like it's worth more in your 20s, and as you get older, the time value of those dollars goes down because you're not going to be able to take advantage of that compounded interest over time. And it's not even just interest; it's just like compounded growth, because I mean our interest rates, that's really the cost of money. So like if you can find an alternative investment that's going to give you a higher return than the cost of that money, then if you want to say you're financially literate, you go and do the thing that will give you a higher return. So, and then you still pay back, for that cost of money, but like the net of the difference between the two, you get to keep that and do what you want.
When I was looking at what I'll bringing in next month, right, which is like closer to like 19-20K from YouTube. To make that at my current job, well, damn, sorry, I am employed through my YouTube channel, right? Just like William reminded me yesterday. Chris, you are employed. You have your own company. But when I was working for my W-2, I'd have to work a minimum of 160 hours. To be honest, it's a hyper growth startup, so 200 hours to make $16,666. Where for just the 16K that's coming in next month, that's from 40 hours of work. And so that's 120, 160 hours I would get back if I didn't want to work the rest of the month. And so when I looked at that as well, the last couple of days, just doing all these numbers, yeah, a W-2 just kind of makes no sense. And I feel like there are those golden handcuffs where if you feel like the company do well, you put in 200 hours a month, times 12 for the year, hoping that there's like an exit which could bring you probably $2 million, $4 million, right? But when after everything we're talking about too, like that happiness factor, right? Getting that time back, or just having that money, making something in 40 hours that would have taken me 200 hours to make at a W-2 job. It's just kind of mind-boggling when I think about it now. Damn, I feel like William's just trying to get me, like, Chris, just stop with that W-2 job, bro.
I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just giving you options, right? So what I find a lot of people don't do is that they don't consider that there's more than two options, right? And they also get into this mindset of thinking that there has to be like a best. And sure, there may be a best, but I'd encourage people to do is, instead of focusing on best, like, can you say, all right, can you order them based on which are better options? It's like, yeah, you can do this, and then you could also do this, and you can also do that. Rank them from, one's a baseline, this one's better than that one, and this one is better than the other ones. And then there's nuance to everything. So it's like, what are the pros and cons to each, right? Like, with doing your own thing, maybe you aren't comfortable with the risk. If you're not comfortable with the risk, then yeah, sure, someone's saying, yeah, you can make $10 million. That doesn't matter to you because you're not willing to take that risk, right? Whereas some people, they value having stability. And like when people think a job is stable, I'm like, okay, wow, you don't. Sure. It's like, you can choose that.
I can tell you this, it's not stable.
Well, I mean, people haven't figured that out yet, even though the same thing has been happening since jobs have been a thing, which is like, it's like,
even 401ks aren't stable. Like, I feel like people forget that. Like, retirement accounts have gone bust, pension funds have gone bust so many times.
Especially in New York, it's coming up. It feels like, I think they're running out of money soon for their pensions.
Oh yeah. I believe it. I feel like it's very cyclical. It just happens. But Chris, I want to learn a little bit more about your journey. Like, you mentioned your YouTube numbers a little bit. Like, how'd you get started with YouTube, and what were like your big moments where you're like, oh wow, this is really like working out?
So I did YouTube. Well, okay. So I'm a self-taught developer, right? I'm known for the guy who got a job in 3 months in tech, on YouTube. And when I was learning how to code, before I got the job, I was trying to find vloggers and people on YouTube who can share the journey, how they did it. No one was doing it. So when I got a job and I realized there's no one doing that, I figured maybe I'll do it. I'm not doing it for the money. I'm just going to do it because I want to help people. And so I've been doing that for the last 7 years now. And I didn't make much money on it. I was making about $1,000 a month for like 5 years, right? AdSense on YouTube doesn't pay well. But then last year, or maybe the year before, gosh, I'm getting old now, is when I started. There was 1 month where I made $30,000 from AdSense. Not AdSense, sorry, sponsors. Right. Then the next month it was 40K. Then 1 month it was 16K. Right. Then that's on top of my tech job. And so it took about on the 6th year is when I started making money on YouTube. It's mainly sponsors though, right? Or making other people money as an affiliate, which now I want to start my own tutorial program, right? Yeah, and so that's kind of how I make that money. It's through my brand. And so I did the long-term game where I didn't care about making money off YouTube right off the bat. It was, all right, let's build a brand so people trust me. I don't want to make these videos to take money from people. I want to give them value, and let's see what happens in a couple of years. And so that's kind of the way I approached it, with no plan other than that, right? And actually, like, as an engineer, technically speaking, I feel like right now I should be here, but because I focus so much more on YouTube than learning code outside of work, I'm here right now, right? But again, no regret, because I feel like I have a pretty big voice. It's kind of crazy where when I'm interviewing at these tech companies, the hiring managers for those roles, told me, yo, I started learning how to code because of your channel, you know, and now they're the ones freaking interviewing me. Well, they're interviewing me now for those roles, right? Which is kind of interesting. Yeah, so that's kind of my journey.
Yeah,
to where I
that's
am
awesome. Thanks for
today.
sharing that. And how long
Personally.
ago was that you started?
YouTube,
Like your
I
first video?
think 2016. So I'm not sure. Let me.
Oh wow.
I think
okay.
2016. Yeah, but it was a long grind. And again, I did it for fun because I loved it, right? So it was in 6 years ago. It says.
Yeah, it was a passion project for you, so it
Yeah, it
just
was a
feels
passion
easier.
project. Yeah, and it's fun. And I don't put much effort into my channel. I literally like this. I just turn on the camera and talk. And at that time I had a speech impediment too, so YouTube taught me how to speak better. Right, to the point these companies will pay hundreds of $1,000s to join the company so I could speak at conferences now, right? It's insane. And so yeah,
Wow.
YouTube has definitely changed my life for the better. And
How
I didn't
did-
think
how did
YouTube would
people
still be
find you?
around. What do you mean? Tech companies or
Like just like your
subscribers?
viewers, like were you coming up in searches and stuff? And
Yeah, so I purposely titled almost, if you look at my older videos, before this year, almost every video has the title web developer on it. Where for the longest time, I don't think it'll pop up now. If you go on Google and you type in web developer and you click on videos, I don't know if it'll do it now. My video is still up there. It used to be like number 1 for the longest time.
oh wow.
Yeah, and so that's kind of how I played around with SEO, having web developer in every title. But I wanted to move away from that, so now I try to not use the word web developer as much anymore.
Wow, yeah, you come up in the first 3.
Oh, I do?
First 3 for me, and
on
then also
YouTube
like
or
number
Google?
5. I have a new account, so I think
Is this on Google or on YouTube?
on YouTube. Yeah, on YouTube.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So I did that. You know, a lot of and front end's more popular than back end, at least with all these tutorials and on YouTube especially, and tech Twitter. So everyone's searching those terms, and I would pop up, and that's kind of how I did it. And again, I was also one of the first people to do YouTube, like, you know, before now, like almost everyone.
Yeah, 7 years ago is
right?
like a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah, and because a lot of people weren't doing it, that's when I realized, oh, I need to take advantage of this. Gary Vee, you know, if you don't see it from Gary Vee, and I literally started my channel because of Gary Vee. He said, if there's a piece of content that no one's doing, do it now. You know, you be that first person, right?
Yeah.
So I was one of the
first mover advantage.
Yeah. So I wish I did that with TikTok. Damn. Yeah, but yeah, so that's how I got into it. But also, dude, like when I say, like, technically speaking, I should be here, but I'm here, is because till 3 a.m. every day I was editing videos, learning how to edit, right? Learning all these different tips and tricks about YouTube, as well. So it's definitely a lot of work. And I was uploading videos 5 days a week at that time. Now it was once per month or every 2 weeks. Now I'm trying to bring it up to 3 times a week on my channel, and then 2 to 3 times a week on my podcast. So I'm picking it up for sure because I have more time now.
Yeah, you have 380 videos, quite a bit.
That doesn't feel like a lot. That feels like nothing. To be honest.
Well, to someone who to just started. So Pratik, you just started your YouTube channel, right? Or or did you?
I
not?
I just created it like last week.
What's the name of your YouTube channel? Oh, can you link it in Zoom?
Oh yeah,
I can.
Yeah, link
There's
it in,
literally nothing on there, but I'll follow you guys.
Yeah, all of you share your channels. Well, I guess I can find it. Never mind. I'll just go and I'll do work. I try to avoid doing anything. Give me a second. I'll share them in the chat for Twitch as well as YouTube. 20 hours later. It's 20 hours later, right?
20 hours, but not hours spelled out. HRS.
Oh, it's just 20 hours
later. That's the name of the channel. That's interesting.
Yeah, my gimmick is I'm gonna like pick something to learn and then just do it for 20 hours and like.
You're not popping up in my search.
Blog about the experience and blog about it.
Well, if he just started his channel, it probably won't populate on search yet. If you could link it.
Okay. Well, I'll share yours first then, Chris.
Yeah, I dropped it in Zoom.
Okay.
I'll you did in Zoom? Oh, there you go. Cool.
Yeah. Again, there's nothing on here, but it's literally like the newest thing ever. Got the new car smell.
Would you say you're like a full stack developer now?
I think so. Yeah. I know enough like computer science, I think, to kind of do both. Not just computer science, but also just like working with systems and integrating things.
And you were at Facebook?
I was, yeah.
Dude, I'd love to have you on my podcast, man.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
Yeah, no, let's do it. Yeah, I'll put my podcast in the It's
And see, this is the
smaller.
kind of stuff like that happens out of these things. Like if I had a 9 to 5, I'd be exhausted on the weekends. I probably wouldn't be here right now. Probably wouldn't have met Will.
9 to 5s
Probably
are
wouldn't have met you.
exhausting, and it's not
What's
even
that?
9 to 5. It's more than 9 to 5.
It's
Depending
more
on
than
your
9 to
role.
5. And yeah, it's
But
just like
you're
the-
paid for 9 to
checking-
5.
Exactly. You're paid for 9 to 5. And it's like the emails and like the scheduling and like the things, like the distractions, like it just slowly saps away at your life essence, I feel like. And just being able to like cut that out and protect your time and your attention. Yeah, you can like show up more purposefully in other areas of your life. So
Yeah, that's what I'm noticing about myself. Like for me, when I was working 9 to 5, it's all right, how much time can I squeeze to editing a video or filming? Oh, I'm too exhausted. Okay, only the weekends. Now it's I have all the time in the world, and it that's what I love is now when I'm creating these videos. Yeah, you're doing it because you need to make more money too, but there isn't as much of an urgency, or it doesn't feel like you're rushing it or you're forcing it. Now it's just I don't know, I feel like I have more freedom. I mean, I do have more freedom, and that's huge. So that's cool. Yo, YouTube too, it's a long grind. Long grind. And the thing is, not everyone succeeds in it, right? Just like tech. But
Just like life.
if you yeah, just like life, right? But if you're willing to like test things out, not afraid of failure, because I'll have videos that bomb and discouraging as hell would make me want to quit YouTube. I've thought about doing that so many times, and I'm glad I didn't. You just have to keep going, keep learning, right? You never know. I have this one person, I forgot her name. She works at Microsoft right now. She had 2K subs. Her videos were getting 500 views per video, and she kept learning and improving, which I stopped doing because I relied on tech income. Now her videos are getting like 300K or 400K per video out of nowhere.
Wow.
Out of nowhere, right? So you never know. You never know. So it's exciting, man. I think podcasts too is a great way to go. It's hard because now there's so many podcasts. But it's one of the easiest ways to create content and make money. So like when I have my podcast, I'm not doing that now, but for people who I want to potentially be my clients in the future, I'm gonna contact them, bring them on my podcast, and build a relationship that way too. Down the line, when I become more popular on my podcast, it's a way to like get clients, open up people, hearts, build friendships, and hopefully that leads to something down the line. So podcasts are cool. What kind of channel are you trying to make though? If it says 20 hours later, wait, what kind of channel is that? 20 hours later.
All right, so let me send you my mock-up for my website.
Wait,
this is like
I'm gonna share it because I want people on the stream to see it as well.
Right.
So I'm sharing my screen. You all should be able to see my screen. I'll bring it up. Let me duplicate my app shit. Did I just? Oh, here we are. So let me duplicate something, and I need to add you. So give me 1 second. But I'm going. Sure. I want everyone to see it. So that's why I want to.
I appreciate it.
All right. So we'll do 3 guests, and then I need to add a new camera. And I guess we're gonna make this this camera. Who are we not seeing? We're not seeing you, Pratik, so we'll add you. Okay. All right. Make it a little bit smaller. You're gonna be above me now. All right. So we'll come here.
I like get what you're doing now because I've used Dcam now, so now I'm like, oh, I see what he's doing.
Wait, what is it called? What's the website called? Is it
20hourslater.com.
Oh, is it? Oh, it's spelled the right way.
You
though.
got that.
That one's spelled the right way. It's freaking
You got
so
a
hard getting.
.com. Damn.
What's that? I got a .com, but it's got a number in it, but I think it works. But yeah, that's the spiel. I pick a thing to learn, do it for 20 hours, and then share all my notes on it. And it's like initially just sort of a build in public sort of thing. Like I'm learning a lot of stuff anyways. Why not just like build my muscle of sharing my work? It's like very new for me. I'm like envious of you guys because you guys are so like, you just hit publish and start streaming or whatever, or publishing YouTube videos. This is all a little bit new for me, but I'm trying to like have a format for sharing the things I'm doing and how I work through things. And as I get deeper into like software engineering, some of this stuff too during my sabbatical, I want to like log it out. And part of it's honestly just for me. It's for selfish reasons. Like I want to know what I did during my sabbatical. I want to have something I can reflect on, have mementos of like my journey. So
I like that you said that because that's what got me into recording my stuff. Was when I started working on Post Supply. I actually have the video when I started the project. And then it turned into, when I started growing the team around me, it turned into, this could be useful for them, like to like kind of understand certain decisions that I'm making and why I'm doing certain things or how to do something. Also for lazy reasons, which is I could go and document a lot of this, and I did document a lot of stuff over time, but it's a lot faster for me to just put up have a video and be like, here, go look at this. And then that turned into, oh, I could also build in public. And I started streaming on Twitch at that time. And then it turned into, earlier this year, I was I shared with my team at the beginning of the year for our like New Year's resolutions. I was like, you all need to tell me what your goal is, and like it needs to be something big, and we're working towards that this year. And for me, it was to get YouTube, like actually start to publish stuff. Initially, I was supposed to publish videos. I didn't meet that, and then I compromised. I was like, you know what? I can do the streams. I don't like, it's easier for me to do streams. So I'm like, I could just talk. I don't really edit anything. I will start to do that eventually, but I'm like, I need to do something just to get it out there. So it's interesting that you said you want to be able to see what you've done. It's literally why I started streaming, was so that I can go back and see what I've done. I think I even shared with you that a lot of times I will go back and watch my own content. That's how I get ideas. I feed off myself now. And it's when you start, it's almost when you go to the gym and you start seeing gains. It's like all of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, like you start getting motivated, you want to do more. The same thing is going to happen. So it's like, do it for a few months. It's going to be a slug, but eventually you're going to start to enjoy it, because you'll start to see like, oh, like how can I optimize this? Because I imagine you like looking at numbers and be like, oh, I see this. I want to capture more. Like for me, I'm trying to capture more views. I was looking at my my metrics, and for me, this is high for me. I know we got you here, Chris, but for me, I'm getting like 75,000 impressions for the past 28 days, which is significantly higher. Yeah, it's significantly higher than what it was when I first started, which was measured in like ones and twos. Now,
is this on Twitch or YouTube?
On YouTube.
That's awesome, dude.
I made affiliate on Twitch last year, but like here on YouTube, I'm looking at my click-through rate now. I'm like, it's only at 0.7% for my lives. For videos, it's at 2%, which is okay. But I'm like, if I'm able to just capture 1% of my impressions, so now I'm at a point now where I'm like, I'm getting to see that, I can tweak things. And if I focus on certain things, I can improve whatever, my goal is, or not my goal, but whatever my status towards that goal is. And it's like, it's motivating, right?
Yeah.
Even though I'm not making money, even though viewership is not really that high, it's just being able to see, oh, there's progress here, and like certain things that I'm doing are working. Oh, sorry, I was reading the chat. My bad.
Yeah, I think like I heard this idea with starting your own business, sort of people, where it's like, if you solve one problem for one person, just start there, and then you don't have to worry about like making the next, Facebook or whatever. Just solve one problem for one person. And right now I'm just kind of doing it for myself, selfishly, because I have a lot of problems and I would love to solve some of my own problems, but then to also like do it in a way where I can share that value with other people, whether it's through like showing the progress or even giving out free tools that I'm building or whatever it is. But I think that kind of like mentality, I think, can be really helpful.
No, that's true. I mean, unless you can solve someone's problem, they're not giving you their money, right?
Well, you can do what I do, which is solve your own problem. Like I'm currently doing that now. Me and Pratik, we did a pair session last week, and he helped me kind of visualize or diagram out the system that I'm building. And like you have to believe that if you have a problem, you're probably not that unique. You're probably not that special. If you have the problem, maybe chances are other people have it too. So if you're solving your own problem, and this is where I like to guide people, which is like some people, they're into this, oh, I need an idea. I'm like, no, that's silly. Solve your problem, because like that's really where ideas come from. It's like, you have this problem over here. How do I solve it? You think of ways to solve it. Those are your ideas. Yeah. And if you focus on that, then you'll build something that's at least meaningful. Like even if no one uses it, it solves your problem, which hopefully that will enable you to do and accomplish more things, because now you're not having to deal with the same thing over and over and over again. You've automated it out of existence. and now you can move forward. And I mean, I don't think you've seen this yet, Chris, but yesterday I was working on my YouTube Slack bot, right? Like for now, that's just like, yeah, I just want to get a link in my channel. I have an overall vision, which I tried to articulate. I don't think I did a great job, Pratik, but I tried to articulate that vision. But you know, the more I work on it, the clearer that vision becomes, the better I'm able to share that vision with others and rally support around it. And eventually, you know, it does become a thing where I could, you know, potentially sell it as a service, right? But that wasn't the idea initially. It was just like, man, I need to solve this problem. And this could solve other people's problem, and this can be monetized. That comes later. But this is how I am, right? It's just like, I'm more just problem driven. I hate dealing with shit. And you'll get to know this over time. Like there's a certain class of things that I just don't want to tolerate. And it's things that I have to like continually come up against, right? So for this, like, I guess for Post Supply, it was, you know, trying to hire people. And for some reason, we have bank tellers applying for senior engineering management positions. And well, you know, one thing that a lot of people don't think of is, you know, thousands of people apply. Someone has to filter through that. Typically it wasn't me until it was me, and I'm like, nah, fuck this, I refuse to do that. How can I get this out? Like, how can I solve that problem? And just by going through and building something, I start to talk and meet more people, and they, you know, share additional context about, yeah, this is the problems, and it also like it results in these things. For instance, I learned that it takes about 50K to hire an engineer, right? So just one data point
in people's time.
In time, but like to the business. Yeah. So like assume that you want to go hire an engineer, and on average, and I'm not saying that you'll pay that, but like on average, it's going to cost you between 40, 50K to hire a person. But there's also like the cost of paying their taxes. You only pay half of your income tax, just FYI. You know, there's payroll tax. There's also all of the benefits like vacation. We had a conversation where I'm like, that's technically your time. That's a cost. They've already paid for that. Then there's also the fact that they pay for your insurance. I'm sure you may pay part of it, but like, let's be real, they pay for your insurance. If they're doing 401k, well, they're paying for that too. There's a back end service. It's not free. Even if you're putting the money in and they're not matching, they still have to pay something. Service. So it's like, there's a lot of risk. So let's say you get a job for 200K. There's a high likelihood that, you know, you're really costing the company 275K before you contribute a dime to their bottom line. So there's risk. You can leave. You can come in and fuck up the dynamic on the team and cause other people to leave and cause work velocity to go down. There's all these things. And it's just, when you start to look at it from that context, you know, you start to realize why companies, for instance, may be a little bit more averse to hiring, you know, like juniors or whatever, just because there's a high likelihood of leaving. And there's other things.
2-3 years minimum. I mean, maximum they probably leave. Right, more pay, better pay.
Yeah, and like that's one thing I learned the hard way, which is like I did have someone who ended up leaving, and they weren't there for long, but it's like, man, there was a lot of energy and effort put into like getting you, onboarding you, like getting you into a project, thinking that we can rely on you to you know, deliver this project, and then you go and leave somewhere else. So it's now we have to deal with that and find someone else to. So there's a lot of things that go in like on the back end. And you know, that's part of the risk, right? If you want to start your own business where you're hiring people. But that's also why, you know, if things go well, that's why you get paid the big bucks, right? Because you're assuming that risk. At the end of the day, someone could just go off and get another job, right? Whereas if that's your livelihood, well, you have to deal with it.
This makes me want to never start my own company.
I hope not. I think so. Here's one thing that I was told this, like, if you really want to be successful, you have to be responsible. Okay, you have to assume more responsibility. Like, it doesn't, I mean, some people, they get to become richer without assuming responsibility, but that's generally generational wealth. So maybe your kids can be that. But if you don't come from that, well, if you want those big bucks, if you're trying to get into 7, 8, 9 figures, which I like 6, I'm like, I don't care. That's nothing to me. It's like 7, 8, or 9. That requires you to be responsible over other people's livelihoods. And it's not like, I'm not saying that it requires you to go and be rich. It's, you need to be responsible to them. So it's very much you build this company to enable others to live. It's not you build a company so that you can go and buy some bullshit. It comes as a result of that, of course, but like that's not the, like, if that's your motivating factor, well then you may give up. You may go back to a job because that's easier, right? Like it's easier to just go and do your 9 to 5, even if it's 12 hours a day. It's easier to do that and just be guaranteed a little check every month versus to put in a lot of effort. When I was doing Post Supply, like I was probably doing 15, 16-hour days every day for a year and a half. And it could not have worked. I mean, like there's always a risk that it didn't work. And by the way, it didn't work. I ended up stopping that and just saying I'm going to focus on the job, like doing that, as well as trying to grow this YouTube thing. So yeah. I guess I'm giving a little more context for you. Pratik, this may be a little bit more like how we know, like why. I think I was working on Post Supply when we met, or maybe I wasn't.
I don't know if you were. I think I joined a little late to the entrepreneurship stuff, so yeah, might have missed that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I ended up throwing in the towel, and like sure, I can tell myself, yeah, I can do this for another 7 years, but it's like, do I want to? Right? Like I didn't know that.
It's good to know when to walk away too. I think that's a very useful skill.
Well, yeah. Well, it's also knowing what you want, right? I didn't realize that like doing this would be me playing therapist to people. Like, you get to, like, if you have people on your team, well, they're people, they're humans. They have life issues like everyone else. You have to deal with that, right? Like, I mean, if you want them to do stuff and take time out of their lives, because at the end of the day, it's their life, to do something to help you with your dream or with your vision, well, they're not going to be 100% all the time. Maybe they're not going to be motivated to do whatever. How do you deal with that? Like, you can't just be like, oh, well, if you're not motivated to do this one thing, just go away. Like, nah, it's like you have to keep in mind that even if it's not the amount of, I guess, productivity that you want, it's still more than what it would be if you didn't have them, right? And that was a hard, it took me a while to learn that lesson. Fortunately, I had mentors and folks who sat on several boards who I get to talk to, and they're like, hey, well, like, you should readjust your expectations, right? Not everybody's going to care about this as much as you, which is why you're doing it. It's like, it sounds obvious when I say it now, but when he was saying it, it was just like, what? Like, what do you mean? Like, they can make a lot of money. And that's why I was saying, it's like, money is not, not that big of a deal.
And Pratik, about the 20 hours later, I like that idea. And I'm not sure if what you've done so far. I don't know what you've done so far, but definitely like documenting your journey in all of this on Twitter. So there's one person, his name's Casey Hightower. He was a fellow or whatever at Google, right? And
he's the Kubernetes guy, right?
Yeah, Kubernetes guy. Yeah, and he retired recently at 43 years old because he was making $3 million a year, I think. I'm assuming that's how much they usually make as a fellow at Google. And so he retired. But what he's doing now as an unemployed person, but very successful, right? He's documenting his journey, learning Swift. Like, this is what I learned today on Swift. This is what I learned after 16 days, or day 16, day 17, you name it, right? Which people are interested in.
What's the handle? Right? What's his handle on Twitter?
I'm not sure. Let me see. Casey Hightower. So.
Oh, Casey. Oh, him. Okay, I know who he is. All right.
Yeah. Okay. Someone's calling me from Vegas. Yeah. So Casey Hightower, and what he's doing is, literally documenting his journey. Yeah. Kelsey. I'm so sorry. Kelsey Hightower. Casey.
Yeah. Okay.
Kelsey Hightower. Kelsey Hightower. Yeah. I can post it in chat too.
Yeah, I see that. Learning Swift, day 14.
Yeah. I'll post it in chat. I'm sorry. Someone keeps calling me. I'm gonna mute myself real quick, dudes.
Right,
but so I'll be back 1 second.
All right.
Sure.
Yeah, I have his page up now. Can you see this?
Okay.
Can y'all see this one?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay.
Yep. Oh wait, actually, I'm looking on Zoom. Let me check.
No, you should probably look on Zoom. I'm looking at the stream too. Okay. Actually, I have it on my iPad.
Oh, okay.
At least the YouTube version of it.
Oh, by the way, I saw that Ecamm, you can like AirPlay.
Yeah.
Like the feed onto some like external monitor.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Could I do it? Could I put it on my iPad or something?
You can. So the iPad, like the connection, like it can be flaky, like AirPlay can be flaky. So you can do that. But what I would recommend is just use the preview window that pops up whenever you're on a live. If you touch on another window, it'll pop up. So I have, well, you can't see my screen. Well, I don't know. I have like, if you look in the corner here on my stream, maybe on this screen over here, there's like a window that's moving around. That's my preview of the stream.
Okay.
But I also just look at the stream on YouTube because I find that it's better to look at the end than the input, because like
stuff could mess up in between there too.
Right. Yeah. So like Ecamm, you also are able to set up IP cameras. So let's say, for instance, you have more than one camera. In like the Sony ones, they could connect to Wi-Fi or whatever. You can have them wirelessly connect into Ecamm as well. Got it.
All right. This is exciting. I'm going to set up my Stream Deck today, probably. Which buttons do you have? I'm sure you have some for
I thought we were
scenes.
going to set this up together. We'll set it up together.
Oh, we'll do it together.
Yeah, we can
Even
do
better.
it later today if you want. Like your evening, I guess. My late afternoon. Or yeah, because I got to go and meet that guy. I don't know if I told you. I met a guy. He owns a tea shop. He sells tea from Taiwan and like other tea ware, and does traditional tea service and whatever. Me and my buddy, we went, and I wanted some cups. I wanted some new teacups, and we got to talking, and yeah, like, you know, he proposed that, hey, like, I'd like to work with you. Like, how about we start this thing? I can handle all of the product or whatever, because he already has all of it, and you handle getting the site set up and marketing. I was like, I've never done that, but I'm willing to talk about it, so I'm gonna drive out there and we're gonna have this conversation and see where that goes.
All right, heck yeah.
Yeah. Initially it was just like, hey, like, would you be willing to teach me tea service? And I just want to record it and just put it on YouTube. Cause I'm like, I think we're losing a lot of culture and tradition here in America. And it's like, we need something where it's like, you know, all of the things that we had, it got us to where we are. And it seems like these days we're trying to throw all of that away. And it's just like, it don't make sense to throw away all this other stuff that has gotten us to where we are. I'm not saying that tea culture is that, but it's something that I think that it brings people together, right? Like you do that in a place with others. Yeah. So I was like, yeah.
And you're amplifying what you want to see more of in the world, which is great.
I like tea. Like, I don't know if you know, if you follow me on Twitter, on my Instagram, you may start to realize that I like tea. I go out for tea often.
Yeah, I may have seen it. I don't recall, but maybe now I'll definitely.
I need to follow you on Instagram.
Oh yeah, I'm well.
What's your handle?
I am Will Shepherd.
You're very prolific on Instagram. I need to get to that level too.
When you say prolific, I put stories out, but like
that's what I mean.
I mostly used it for photography, just for like putting like my photos that I sometimes edit. It takes me, man. Like I'm bad about a lot of things. A lot of people, they'll look at me, they're like, oh man, you're doing all this. It's like, yeah, I'm doing it at a poor level. Like, there's so many things that I can do and I should be doing, and I just don't do it.
Tea time. The story I see on your Instagram is just tea time.
Yeah, it is tea time. Yeah. Well, I guess you're starting to see. No, don't say what it is. No. I don't like talking about that kind of stuff.
Okay, for sure.
That's a culture. So I come from a culture that glorifies money and materialism. And it's disgusting to me. Now that I've lived outside of the country. So like, I tend to not like to talk about those things. But for the people who follow, like, I mean, I'm not going to just hide things that I'm doing. So it's just like, you know, you'll see stuff, but I rarely will talk about certain things. Like,
when I bought my Porsche, my parents have really old Mercedes Benzes from like 2010, right? Mm-hmm. And because they didn't like feeling like, you know, they didn't like that, you know, they kind of wanted to match that level, even though they're in the poverty level. My parents, they bought a AMG Mercedes Benz just to have it next to my Porsche, and I was so mad. I'm like, you can't afford this. And so I sold that Porsche for a Honda CR-V. Right? Because I just hate that part about the Filipino culture. And I'm sure there's other cultures like that, but I see it so much in my family and Filipino culture, where it's all about who has a nicer car. It's all about thinking you're better than someone because of the car you have. But that means nothing. That means nothing, right? And so I literally, that's the only reason I sold my Porsche, was to kind of push back against my parents and my family, show them like, you don't need to have those nice cars. I know I have a Tesla, but I bought the Tesla because it's so freaking hot in Vegas. I just need the AC to turn on in my car when I come back from the grocery store. So that's literally the reason I bought my Tesla. I bought it during summer, right? But I had the Honda CRV, and so yeah, that's a big thing in at least in the Filipino culture.
So I have an honest question, because like I'm obviously living in a different world here. Are Teslas considered good? Because I bought a Tesla as well, but like I was just like, I need a cheap car, and that's why I bought a Tesla. So it's, for me, I'm just like, I need a normal, basic, regular car.
No, Tesla are cheap, especially the Model 3. But I guess you could say, at least in my family, relatives, cousins, if you have a Tesla, anyone can buy a Tesla right now, too.
Yeah, they're like 35K, like 35,
it's
40K.
so cheap right now. Yeah,
on a lease, like if I lease mine, dude, I'm like, I don't pay less.
Yeah, dude. Like it's yeah. So at least around my family, it looks like you have money, right? And
yeah,
so
I think for the average American though, they do think it's like an upper end sort of car. I don't necessarily always
There's
think.
So much hate on
I own a
Tesla
Tesla too, and I don't necessarily think of it that way. But I heard like this, this elder woman being like, "Oh wow, you have a Tesla," like, and I was like, "Yeah," but I don't know. I don't consider it like that, but I think there is like a premiumness to it. It is a nice car.
I love the tech about it. I just love the tech. I love how fast it is. Right, if I need to overtake something, right, I'm in a red light and I need to pass that car next to me, right? That's the only reason I love it. And if to be honest, I don't think I'll buy a gas car again. I don't think I'll ever buy a Porsche again. I just love how convenient.
It's very convenient. It spoiled me in some ways. Like I'll be driving a rental car and I was like, oh, I gotta turn this off again, and the keys I forgot. Like
I tried driving a normal car again. I couldn't do it. I'm so used to the Tesla. Like I never use the brake in my Tesla. Rarely. Right, so I just got used to that, and it was so weird pressing brakes in a gas car, where if you let go of the brake, the car moves forward. I'm like, why is the car moving forward, Mom?
Right.
What's with this car? Why is it moving forward? I'm not pressing the gas. I'm not pressing the pedal on this. What's going on? I don't remember how to drive a normal car anymore.
Yeah, it spoils you a little bit for sure.
It really does.
Well, if you like that, I mean, so GT3s, Ferraris, all the Lamborghinis, McLarens, when you drive those, when you take your foot off the brake, they don't move. Just
oh, nice. So okay, so that's my goal.
They also have engine braking too.
Is there a name for that feature?
It's not really a feature. It's because they have PDKs, they're automated dual clutch transmissions. So it's just like driving a manual, except it's automated. So when you just like a manual, you take your foot off the brake, the car isn't gonna.
Oh, it's just completely disengaged. The clutch is disengaged.
So they don't engage until you like they engage over time, right? Like you can't just dump it, but as you give it throttle, they'll engage and go in and take off. So yeah, I just wanted to just throw that in there, like it's not just Tesla that does that, like a lot of vehicles do that. And yeah, so but it's interesting because like I bought my Tesla because I was like, all right, I decided to listen to my mentor. He has one, and he's just like, just get you a little Tesla. I'm like, all right, fine, I'll get a little Tesla. But one of the things that I like about it now is that I don't have to go to a gas station, and the other thing is that I don't have to worry about people. So you think you want one of these types of higher end cars, but let me tell you, if you have a higher end car, it brings a lot of attention, and just you may want attention, but there's also unwanted attention, but you don't get to control that, right? And it's also like if you go to a gas station, and that's the one thing I love about the Tesla, I don't have to go to a gas station anymore. But going to a gas station, like
you're vulnerable.
It's dangerous because people are like, they just coming up to you, hey, what do you do, and all this kind of stuff. Or if they find out that, in my case, this has happened a lot when I'm with my buddies. Like we were going to a track once, and my buddy had his track car. He was just taking it there, and some guy came up. He's like, he went to my friend. We look different. I'll leave it at that. We look different. He went up to my friend. He's like, oh man, I love your car. My friend said, no, that's not my car. That's his car. And the guy looked at me. Face it was just like, it's like, how could he? It's just like, it brings that kind of stuff. So it's like I don't know if you do, but like I don't want that anymore. Where it's just like, I'm going to a parking lot and people are jumping out, taking pictures, running in front of the car. It's like, come on, bro. Like, it's not only dangerous, but like, what happens if I accidentally hit you? I'm liable. Or let's say I'm, on the road and people are like, oh man, I like this car, and they want to try to race me or whatever. What if they have an accident and they hit me and they fuck up my car? Or, what if I'm just out doing whatever and like somebody, people aren't really caring about that you like and value your car. What if, you're at a parking lot, a basket or someone dings you. It's all these things. And I'm just like, you know
People
what?
have
With
like
this Tesla, I don't
slashed
have
my
to do it.
tires. People slash my tires
Whoa.
at the gym, and it's happened 3 times in Vegas. That's
What?
also another reason why I sold it. People would scratch or key my Porsche, right? And that happened 2 times in Vegas. What in Vegas?
All right,
and one
well,
when I
since you
drive
keep saying
across the
Porsche, because I'm a big Porsche fan. Now you got to tell
I
me
love Porsche.
what did you have?
Oh no, it was the SUV. It's a Cheyenne, and it was the base model.
Oh, Cayenne.
It
Okay,
was the
okay.
base model.
All right.
Cayenne. Okay, and I say Porsche correctly. It's not Porsche. It's Porsche.
Yeah, it's Porsche, but I'll say Porsche.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't even say
Yeah.
Porsche. I just say like which one. So it's like so far in my
Yeah.
life I've had 5. And the
Nice.
last one
I
was
love
the
Porsche
GT3.
so much. It's
I love them too,
the
but now
interior
I'm
Tesla
over
is
it.
terrible.
I'm over it.
I love the interior. Compared, it's nice, but yeah. So that was so annoying though, man. Like people would like scratch it, slash my tires. It was frustrating. Inconvenient.
Oh,
Just a sec. I'll be back real quick.
all right.
For sure.
It's gonna be it'll be me and you until he gets back.
For sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So I mean, it was inconvenient, right? I mean, it's I don't like that. And the thing with a Tesla now, everyone has it. Right? Here, at least where I live in Vegas, Tesla's everywhere, so you don't stand out. It's just like a normal car. It's like a Honda here, right where I live. So it's nice.
That's
yeah,
actually what
I don't like
there's a joke that we have here, where because we have a lot of G63s, and like it's like the Honda Accord of our garage. So like we all have them. It's just like yeah. So
Nice.
it's definitely where you are, right? Where it's just like you get used to seeing certain things. And so, for instance, like a lot of people here don't have Teslas. I'm in Texas, just FYI. There's not a lot of Teslas here. But yeah, like I like the fact that they now blend in more. At least I like that now. Like as someone who's been doing that other kind of stuff for 10 years, I'm like, you know what? It's kind of refreshing that I don't have to go to a gas station, that I don't ever have to like just feel like people are looking at me, or that there's a target on my back. Cops don't really care because like I mean I can speed off but you can't hear it. Like all my other cars are loud as hell, and they're also loud colors, and it's just like that guy, we're gonna look at this guy. Whereas with this Tesla, like no one gives a shit. Which is kind of dope.
Every other car. Yeah.
I would get paranoid with a nice car. Like in the parking lot, I would park in the corner, and like I don't know. It just seems like
I still do that with my
cause you more
Tesla
stress.
though. Like I do park a little bit further away, especially if there's like trucks around, right?
Right.
Gosh, I still do that. It's just because I just value my car. Like I really value my car.
That's fair. Yeah.
What kind of Tesla do you have?
I have a Model 3, like 2020
Nice.
Model 3. Yeah.
Yeah, same here. I do. The Cybertruck looks nice to me. I'm not gonna lie. It's
It's
damn
so
like,
ugly. Oh my gosh.
dude,
When is it ever coming out?
They're having an event now, a release event or something like that, to talk about when it's going to come out. I think it's going to come in a couple weeks.
Oh wow.
How much is that? How much is it?
70 to 80K.
Waste
it's
of
not
money.
bad.
Waste of money. That is bad. For a truck that can't even do truck shit, that's very bad. That's a waste. That would be like that would be a dumb use of money when you can buy a Ford F-150 or the F-150
You
Lightning.
sound like Joe right now, bro.
Well, maybe I sound like someone who understands money, and it's just you can go buy a dumbass Tesla truck that can't do truck things, and you spend double the amount that you like at the end of the day, it's going to do the same thing. It'll get you from point A to point B. And like if you want electric, well, there's the Ford Lightning. I think you could get those if you can. You should be able to get it for like 40, maybe 50K, which to me sounds a lot less than 70. And you can actually do truck shit with that. Like not like Baja truck shit, not like that, but like normal go to the place, tow some stuff, put some stuff in the back, that kind of thing.
You could do that with the Cybertruck. I don't see why you shouldn't be.
I don't know. Battery life. Well, honestly, like even with the F-150, like for electric, like I wouldn't do an electric truck if I'm buying the truck. But I also understand the truck as a utility vehicle that does work, not as a status symbol. Like that's. But again, like this is spoken from someone who's already.
And you live in Texas.
Yeah, I live in Texas. Yeah.
Where everyone literally has a truck. Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah, we're truck central over here. But a lot of people who have trucks, those trucks are for their businesses. So like that's, I mean, even here, like in real estate, let's say you want to go buy a Raptor. All right, well, if you're doing enough real estate, well, you go buy your Raptor with your real estate money, and you get it tax free. You literally get it free. You get to gosh, what is it called? You get to do the express depreciation. I forget what the thing is called, like the federal guideline, what it's called. But you essentially get to carry forward 100% of the depreciation in the first year if that vehicle is over 6,000 pounds and it's used for work. So if you've ever seen people like who have G-Wagon, like I had the reason why is because I get to go and pay for this $200,000 G-Wagon, but you're like, oh, I paid $200K. I'm like, no, I have not given that $200K to the government.
Yeah.
And now I have this thing that I can actually get use out of. Right. So a lot of folks who get the G63s, and even AMG understands this, the G63 is 6,000 pounds. The regular G-Wagon 550 is not. So if you want to get the tax write-off, you buy the G63. So like you may be like, oh, I would never pay that. Well, it's like, well, you may want to pay that one because that's a tax write-off in your first year. Right. And if, let's say, for instance, I don't know how you would do this if you only had a job making like 250 or 300, but like, let's say you had a job making 300 and you are doing stuff in your business. Well, you made a $200,000 loss. So like technically on paper, technically your income is not 300K. You can only
use that car for business though. You can't use it for personal use, right?
What's the difference? Like, what do you mean by personal use? You work from home, right?
Because I remember looking at the X for that reason, the Tesla X, for the write-off, and then there's small details, of course, here and there. But I just and one of the reasons I didn't push through with that was, I don't know, like it says I can only use it for business, so I decided to just get it.
So then only use it for business and buy like a regular daily driver. That's what I did. I had the Genesis G80, bought it used for like $30,000. My daily car. It's just like, I had all these other things, but I'm riding in my daily. So it's like, sure, you could use it for business, but it's like why? What do you need it for personally? Like, what are you doing personally where you need to drive it?
True. To be honest,
just showing off, or is it just status? That's why we get it. It's like, are you just trying to show the people, oh, I got this, or is it like you really? Yeah. So for me, like, I put, I think maybe 5,000 miles on mine over the course of
damn near 2 years. That is less money going to. That's less than taxes for sure.
Well, that's what it was for me. I don't give it, like, in my opinion, G-Wagons are ugly as fuck. They're boxes on wheels. They're ugly. Yeah. People who like them, they only like them because it's a status, and it's like, well, they're ugly. But not paying taxes is pretty attractive to me. And I'm not saying that it's zero taxes. I want to be clear here. It's either income tax or business taxes. One is lower than the other, so I'll rather pay these business taxes.
My fiance, she works for me, and so like it's pretty nice, right? Like, so she had a particular job that wasn't paying her that well, and so I just told her, hey, I can pay you this much. It'll be more than what she was earning, and she does less work, but that's just money that I probably would have just given to her anyway, to be honest. And I don't now, and she works for it. Right. And so that's just also less money I give to the government, which was huge. Rather than, like, for example, paying, $40K in taxes. Now it's just, I'm paying someone I really care about, and to get, let's just say it's $40K. That's, but I can take care of her, and it also benefits me too. So that's great. Right. And rather than giving it to a random person.
Yeah. I've also heard, like, when you have kids, you can kind of hire them under your business.
When they're old enough,
when they're old enough, obviously. But then the real benefit is that they can create a Roth IRA account and then start putting money in there, and that's tax-free growth. So you can get them started with that account earlier.
Yeah, and starting that out, like, I don't know, let's just say the 13, right? From 13, let's say you start from then. By the time they're 40, 50, they just never touch the cash. Damn. The compounding interest on that.
Well, this is where we get into, like, what's more important to you? Is it more important to you that you have generational wealth, or is it more important to you that you have a status symbol that shows to others who don't give a fuck about you,
for sure, man.
Like, that I have something? And I'm not saying, like, I mean, I'm like I said, I had to learn the hard way, right? So it's like, I could have got on track at 26, but instead I got on track at 30, right? So it's like,
better late than never.
Yeah, it's better late than never. But I also think that there's a certain point where, like, it just becomes infeasible. So, like, if you're, hopefully, people can understand this in their mid to late 20s, you know, and make sure they get on the right track in their early 30s, maybe mid early 30s, then, you know, you can still recover. But, you know, if you're trying to get to a certain level, like it's I don't know, just plan for 10, 15, 20 years, like for anything, right? Like my time horizon used to be measured in like 2 years. Oh yeah, I want to be able to do this in 2 years, or I want to be able to do this in a year. And as I've gotten older, I've realized that no, I should have a longer time horizon. Like anything I do, all right, I'm going to do this for 7 to 10 years or 15 to 20 years. And I found that it helps me stick with things because I don't get my expectations up too high. Like let's say for instance, this YouTube thing, I think a reason why a lot of people will fail at YouTube is because they expect something to happen in a short period of time. In my case, I'm like, all right, I'm working until 40. So it's like, I'm starting now, I'm 34. That gives me 6 years to make something of myself and on YouTube. And I'm much more likely to see it through if I'm not having this expectation that if I don't get 100,000 subs in a year, then I'm going to quit. Or if I don't get to 1 million subs
a lot of people
in
do
2
that.
years. I know that.
A lot of people do that. Oh my gosh. It's not easy, but that's a good goal. And so when you say 6 years, you're not going to work anymore. You mean you're not going to do a W-2 job anymore?
No, that's not what I mean. Like I have to recover. That's what you lost. The time value that I lost. Yeah. So it's like I can still live basically the same thing, except now instead of being, year 4 of 7 into being $20-30 million, I'm now year 1 of, being worth 5 to 7, which is, had I did the thing earlier, I'll be at a different stage. So that's what I mean. And no, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to work. I've learned that lesson the hard way as well. I have to do something. Right. Where it's just like, sure, you can say I'm not going to do anything, but like you have to do something, whether that be work for a company or work on something. Like you have to occupy your time with someone. You need an occupation, right? You need to do something. That was the thing that I didn't understand. But fortunately now I understand that it's not just a job, right? Like, it sounds like you're tied to the job, and it's like, no, there are all these other options that you have that you could occupy yourself with. And it's not just this job. So in my case, yes, I will continue to work. Does it mean I'll be working for a company? I don't know. But what I'm not going to do is put any constraints or limits on my future. To me, that's silly. It's just like, we'll see what happens. Like if certain points of the time, I may go to corporate. Certain points of the time, maybe I won't.
I plan to hop around. Like I want to have the flexibility to just do whatever I want. Sometimes corporate does make sense. Like say you want to do some AI stuff. Like you're not going to get that compute anywhere else. Like it's really hard to get access to like data sets or systems, whatever. But other times I think it's so much better to do things on your own and build your own skill set, entrepreneurial mindset. And it's nice to like be able to hop back and forth if you want to. I think a lot of people just think it's corporate all the way, but I think you can take these little breaks in between.
All right. What advice would you give, Chris, for someone starting their YouTube channel? Like, let's say, for instance, Pratik, like he's just started. What advice would you give him? What have you learned in your 6 to 7 years of doing this, where you're like, you know what? If no one else has to make these mistakes, they will get to where I am or where I was, wherever, like much faster. What can you share with him?
You should have uploaded a video yesterday. Because your first video, I mean, look at my first video. All right. It was with a Note 7 Plus, right? The phone that literally exploded. It was one of those phones, right? And that video, because and by the way, I made that my first video, which is what got me to where I am today on YouTube. I waited 2 or 3 months to upload that video. That was just on my phone, just chilling there. And I waited 2 to 3 months, right? And then I uploaded it. And then, that video did really well, and that's helped me significantly, right? So start yesterday. Stop trying to make every video perfect. You get practice not by making one video perfect, but by uploading 100 videos. You get better by doing it that way, right? You're going to get a lot of negative feedback and comments. People are going to talk shit to you, right? But that's how you get better. And then secondly, no matter how good your video is, it's not going to perform well, okay, if your thumbnail's not well. Right. So for example, let's say like this live stream, what I suggest to William, it takes a lot more effort, unfortunately, but create a thumbnail that you can, I don't know how this works with this what is this called? Ecamm. But if you could have like a thumbnail So that when people, because I see every live stream, it's always on my feed because I'm always like just tuning in here and there on William's live streams. But there's no thumbnail. I only know it because I know who William is, right? And I'll click on it. But if there's a thumbnail that's kind of more catchy and it's for every video, okay, so here, the way to get people to watch your videos is number one, the thumbnail. They don't look at the title, they don't look at the length of the video, they look at the thumbnail. If it's eye catching, and if it's eye catching, then they look at the title, and the title seems like, okay, I'll gain some value. Then they click the video, and then when they click in the video, you have 10 to 30 seconds to capture that audience. If you don't, and they're not watching past 30 seconds, there's a low chance that video will do well. Right? But again, you don't have to worry too much about that right now. You just need to upload. But those three things are extremely important. For example, after I work out today, I was on my YouTube, right? On YouTube, and I was just scrolling down, and I'm scrolling for like, it feels like a minute or two. There's nothing catching my eye. And if there's a nice thumbnail, if the title makes no sense, I'm not going to watch it. Right? So that's your goal. But the thing is, though, you don't have an audience yet. Right, on YouTube, you don't know what will work or not. That is also why you need to make it a goal to upload 100 videos as fast as possible, so you can know what works and what doesn't work. For me, vlogging worked at the beginning. Then after 2 or 3 years, people stopped watching vlogs, so I went to talking head videos, right? And I would have all these edits and cuts where I sound like a robot. That was doing well, and now people like more podcast format where I have almost 0 edits. Now I just talk. Like my last video on YouTube, I'm just talking to the camera. I have some edits here and there, so very few. But it's more like a podcast, but 10 minutes long. Well, no, my last video is 3 minutes, but usually it's like 10 minutes long, right? And so like I'm just learning, right, what works and what doesn't work. Yeah, and then I create a second channel that I can test things out, right? And now I have my podcast channel. But yeah, so that's what I'd suggest, right?
Cool. That's really helpful.
Yeah.
Do you
And
create
it's
your
really
own
hard.
thumbnails, or do you outsource that out?
I do my own thumbnails. I
Okay.
can't share my, here, let me show.
Oh, you can
Oh.
share your screen if you want. You have to do it in Zoom though.
Okay, here, I'll share my screen. Oh, I
Yeah.
can't share. Well, I think you're sharing.
Oh
right
yeah,
now.
let me stop. Yeah, and make sure
Yeah.
you only share things that you want, and I'll put it up once you tell me you're good. On the
Oh, yeah.
on the
This is a new computer, so there's nothing on here.
okay.
Wait, hold on. Let me close my Telegram. Good point on that, dude. And my Messenger. I don't want people to. Okay. Anyway, so here, let me share my screen, and here's Photoshop. You guys can see that, right? So,
Yeah.
so this is like
we can see it. Let me
a
put it on the
thumbnail
screen
made.
right quick.
So this is a thumbnail I've never done before. Like with this text, just trying new things, right? So like, yeah,
That was
I made a
good.
thumbnail there. And this is a Netflix engineer.
Wait. Can you
just trying
can you
new-
pause it there? So one thing that I've been noticing, and I can share insight from a photographer's perspective. That white next to the black, it creates a lot of contrast, so it naturally brings someone's eye to that. And I see that you're doing it around the subjects, you two guys. So it's like it makes it very hard for the person who's looking at this, who's scrolling very quickly, to not zoom in onto the face, because you put this high contrast bit, and then it's wrapping like a border around these two images, and then you have some text here, and
That's
even
great.
the text, the contrast, like you have orange over a black, like it's black, but it's over white. So you have a lot of contrast here. Your letters are big and bold, and I noticed that you also put a border around a emoji with a white background, which is again contrast. So it seems like what you're doing is you're using contrast to like drive a person's eyes to a particular place. One thing that I will add is I would highly recommend like snapping out or using your clone tool. I don't use Photoshop. I'm a Lightroom person, more photography, but I think they have something like it. That road thing, by the way. See that? The road.
The road.
Oh, you can't see what I'm hovering over, right? There's the mic, the boom arm.
Yeah. The boom
So
arm.
that would be my one. Like, oh wait, we
Yeah,
can't see.
I
we
didn't
can't see
remove that.
Pratik.
I was
What do you mean?
lazy. Oh, you can't see my screen?
No. I was saying
can see green
I can't see
screen.
Pratik. I didn't have him up, so I just put him back up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
You can also use a lasso tool, I think, to like.
Yeah, I purposely I didn't know. So this is the thumbnail for my podcast. So I'm trying to figure out what thumbnails work on my podcast.
Yeah.
So I was like, here's a little bit what Joe Rogan does, you know, and then this is I try to do on my main channel, and so I was trying to figure out what podcasts really work, and so I was just trying a few things.
No, honestly, I think this is great. Like this hits all the check boxes. You have like the reaction faces in here. Like William mentioned, the contrast, like the white border around the figures also makes them really pop. The emoji, that's emotion, right? You see that? You know what emotion to feel when I look at that. And then the big lied to, that's, you know, obviously like a very
it's kind of like you have
you.
to try to clickbait them.
Yeah.
There is a lot though. Like I didn't want to add this, but there was just empty space. And I'm like, I don't know. And another thing, like for example, my main channel, did I save it? I did. Exact same kind of thumbnail here, shorter.
Yeah.
And all of these are screenshots. I don't pose for these. I just like go through my video and I try to pause it in particular points, hoping to find a good angle. That makes me look skinnier too, right? Yeah. So just trying new things. I mean, I've never done a thumbnail like this too.
Actually, you know what? I'm glad you said that because, well, it also sheds light that I'm lazy as fuck. But like all of my thumbnails are literally a screenshot that YouTube grabs from the stream. So it gives you three options. Right. I just select the one with my face. So it's like what I'm hearing is that I could literally just go and grab a frame in my video and just do this. And of course it's something else. Maybe that'll be for my YouTube slide. It's gonna be for my YouTube slide. I'll do it once or twice, but like I know I won't be consistent, so I gotta automate it. So hopefully I can get that slide bot to do it.
I do film in 6K though. So and I do that on purpose, right? So that it looks like I took a picture because it's super high quality, right? I filmed in 6K. So that helps, right? If I did this in 720p, it would look like this. With my homie right here. Oh, not wait, my homie. That's me. My bad.
Oh yeah, you can tell.
Right. Yeah. And I use Lightroom a lot, right? And so like I got that from here, and I got this from a screenshot from his stream because I couldn't find any good pictures on his, you know, any of his socials. So I went to his stream, tried to find a stream that was streaming in 1080p on Twitch and screenshot the thing, and that's where I got that. So it's kind of that process. And again, I don't know what works on my channel, right?
Oh, it's Trash Dev, right?
Yeah, Trash Dev.
I never knew what he looked like, but he's come up on my Twitter feed.
No, yeah, he's awesome, dude. He's just a really smart dude, just a smart developer. But yeah, so that's kind of the process I go through, and I don't know what works on podcasting, right? So it's doing well, fortunately.
Yeah,
right?
I think that's part of it, right? It's just experimentation and testing.
Yeah, and I've been doing it for so long. You see, you know, things change, right? And I've seen, and so I've done a lot of research on podcast channels that do well. And one thing I noticed is that their channel starts doing well when they figure out what kind of thumbnail works. So there's this the Diary of a CEO. You look at his channel.
I love that guy. Yeah, I love him.
You look at the older videos, his thumbnails are a certain way, and when he found what thumbnail works, boom, and he starts making sure that's the kind of thumbnail that works for his channel, sticks to it. And you can see in the older videos, he would do the exact same thumbnail on videos that are performing well, so they could perform even better in the future, right? And there's another guy, I don't know his name, but I know his thumbnail. It's a blue, black, brown color, super animated. It's a cool podcast too. Same thing. They figure out a particular thumbnail that works for them. They tried a bunch of different things. When they found a thumbnail that really stands out and works, they stick to it. And so you have to keep trying to figure out different thumbnails. When I look at my channel, you can look at why a video does well. You look at the thumbnail too, unless it's a super catchy title, right? But you look at the thumbnail as well. And of course, it's not just the thumbnail. It's the thumbnail and the title. It goes a long way. And so a lot of what I've done in the past is when I upload a video on YouTube, if it's not performing well, like there's a ranking on YouTube on your own videos. If it's at 1 out of 10, 10 out of 10, if it performs well or not. If it's underperforming, I look at I change the title. I'll change it multiple times actually. And I'll change the thumbnail multiple times, and then I'll perform even better. Right? So those are things you have to keep your eye on as well. Unfortunately, I mean, that's how it works. I mean, it's like when it's crazy. It's old school days. When you go to the movies, when you used to go to movies, you see all these posters around. Right, on posters of like movies coming out,
right?
And you look at the poster you look at is the poster with that has the best poster of whatever movie is coming out, and you're like, well, that's a creepy poster. What's the title of that movie? Oh, it's that. Who are the actors? Then you look at who the actors are. Oh, those are the actors. I'll keep an eye out for that when it comes out. So same thing like YouTube, right? Same thing like the magazine cover. When you go to the airport, you see all these magazines. You might have a particular magazine you look for, but if you don't, you just look at what magazine looks the coolest. what car is in the front. You know what I mean? What's the big bold font letters that stand out that'll get you to open that magazine. So it's the same thing with YouTube.
Yeah, and then I feel like once you start to figure out what's working for you, it starts to become like your brand. Like the Diary of a CEO thumbnails you mentioned, like now it looks very iconic, right? Like now when it comes up on your feed, you know who made that thumbnail. It makes you feel a certain type of way. Whatever relationship you have with that brand, you'll get triggered to feel like, oh, that's the guy who I trust about tech, you know? And it becomes like your brand, a very powerful
keeping the
design.
same kind of, if it works, and keeping the same thumbnail is extremely important. I've seen channels die because they changed the format of the thumbnails. He's really big on Twitter. He's a esports guy. He's a tall dude with big Adam's apple, like white dude, young kid. I forgot his name. Oh, he's not young. He's my age, but he looks young. I forgot his name, but he had a YouTube channel, and he changed his thumbnail out. And you could notice as soon as he changed his thumbnail, the channel went from getting 100 to 200k views per video to 5k, which isn't bad. But when you're getting 200, 300k views, 5,000 views is not even close in AdSense, right? So extremely important. Those small details are extremely important. Yeah, I love talking about YouTube, as you can tell. I should love coding just as much, right? But no, I don't have to. But yeah, so
well, you can do both. So that's even better for you. Like
fortunately, right? But yeah, so those small details are extremely important on YouTube. Also, I usually charge $300 for this, so I'll send you my PayPal. I'm just joking, dude. Just joking.
Do you usually do market research? Like, what's your research process like? Do you see what's trending, take notes on?
No, I don't. So I don't. So when I do YouTube, I stop looking at other people's channels. I used to look at something called Social Blade where I compare my views. How many views am I getting a day? How many people unsubscribe? I used to look at that every day. It's very toxic to myself. So I stopped. I don't look at other people's content anymore. Actually, unless it's a podcast, I don't consume content similar to mine. The kind of content I create is just, now this is before, losing my job, but like usually it was just what content I'd enjoy making and what value I think it would bring to my audience. Now I do need to create, like, I'm going to start making like 2 to 3 videos a week. So I might do a little bit of research, but that's definitely important, especially if you don't have a community yet. Looking what works around whatever you want to talk about. I've seen people that only talk about credit cards or because the AdSense, the CPM, every 1,000 views, he makes so much money, like $50, right? Gaming YouTubers, Twitch streamers get $3 every 1,000 views, which is not much. Well, I get like 15 to 20 because I'm talking about tech, like software engineering, right? So yeah, maybe that's something to consider too, right? Because I mean, gamers, $3 for 1,000 views isn't much. I mean, it can add up depending how many views you get. So yeah, so there's a lot about YouTube.
And have you outsourced any part of your process, like your production process?
I did. Now I'm doing it on my own.
Okay.
Because I have a video editor that I've used for 5 or 6 years now. 6 years now. And so he did my video editing because I didn't have the time. But I know in some videos he would perform well, but I noticed even though he's a better video editor than me, because it's my video, because I know how I want that video to come out, when I edit my videos, it performs better. I just didn't have the time, so I had to sacrifice that, to be honest. Right. But yeah, so I would outsource it because I didn't enjoy it anymore, editing it after doing it for half a decade. Now I do. It's fun again, so I'm doing it myself. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, so there's a lot. And also I deleted TikTok because it was just distracting for me, but I installed it again. Your content, oh shit, I didn't show my address on there. Okay, the content.
Yeah. I was like, don't worry, but like that's on the street.
Yeah. Your content, for example, William, if I were you, right, the one way to grow your awareness, right, YouTube is where you make the money. TikTok, not really, unless you're a top 1%, right? On YouTube, you can have 10,000 subscribers and make money. But the thing is, you have to get people to find your channel. The way you do that is through shorts on Instagram. Wait, shorts? Sorry, that's YouTube, right? Reels on Instagram. Instagram's okay though, but TikTok. I try to get my video editor to do that for me to find what content works for my podcast to publish on TikTok. He's not good at that because English is a second language, so I don't blame him, right? But that's also a must. putting those clips, like these clips right now. And the thing is, it's super time consuming. This is what 2-3 hours, 4 hours long, whatever. You have to rewatch all that. So you have to publish that on TikTok. To be honest, it's like Twitch. How are people going to find you? Right? Twitch doesn't have a good way for people to learn who you are, right? So you have to create that awareness through TikToks. A way around that is after the stream, you upload that stream to Descript, which turns everything into a script, and maybe search for terms. Maybe search for terms here and there on Descript to find what works. There are AI companies out there now that does that for you. It usually sucks. Hopefully it improves. That can work also. It's extremely important. You have to do it. I don't do it because I need it. I don't really need it. I'm going to start doing it now because now this might be my full-time thing. So I'm being very cautious in like how quickly I professionalize it, because I don't want to make it not fun for me, but I know these things are really important if you're treating it as like a business, or you're trying to achieve certain outcomes and results. So
Well, add on to that, like another perspective is, for me, I take it as like I need to learn, aka like start doing things, but add it in slowly, right? So it's just like it becomes second nature. It's almost like, I think I saw your video.
It takes time.
I saw a short where you like learned a bunch of languages, or you tried to learn a bunch of languages at once, and the net result is you didn't learn any of the languages well. I'm not saying that that's what you said, but like if you're trying to learn 8 languages, at the end of that, you're going to know 8 languages not very well. Whereas if you instead focus on one language, get to know that well to where it's become relatively second nature, then you learn the next one. And like over time, all of those learnings and experiences, they're going to compound, right? Because you're not going to just all of a sudden forget the first language. You still know it, you're still practicing it, but now you're just adding to your tool belt. And like I understand the taking it a little bit slow, but also knowing that you need to do it. So I think it's a two-parter, right? We now
learn
understand
as you
what
do
we gotta
it.
do. Yeah.
You can't do everything at once, that's for sure, because it's just so much, right? For me, it's like this is easier to me than programming, and it's more enjoyable because I'm good at it. I'm better at it than I am at programming, right? To be honest. But it doesn't happen overnight. But as you do it, you learn. Like video editing, dude. All the research I did on YouTube to learn how to edit, that took so much time, and now I don't think I just, what I mean? It's like when you're doing math in your head. Well, yeah, if it's like doing math in your head, you just know how to do it now. So I would just say, again, upload a video yesterday and go, and then learn from there, right? The thumbnails are going to suck, right? Unless you know Photoshop well already, it's going to suck, but mine did too. They still suck. I think they still suck, right? And I'm trying to make that better, right? So, one thing though, and I don't do this now, I probably will now, because now if it's my full-time thing, depending on the topic, I would say think of a thumbnail first you think could do well. Now you probably can't do that yet because you haven't made videos yet, but later down the line, it's if your thumbnail isn't good, don't even upload it. That's what so I'm in a YouTube Discord with all the big YouTubers in tech, right? And one thing that we talk about is if they don't think the thumbnail is good, it's not even worth uploading the video.
Wow.
Because if the thumbnail's not good, no one's gonna even notice it on their feed. And if no one notices on the feed, meaning the CTR click-through rate, YouTube's not going to recommend it. No one's going to watch it.
So almost let the thumbnail drive the content. Like think of the thumbnail first, and then figure out like what you want to talk about, how you want to talk about it.
That could work. Or if you think of a topic, then think of what kind of thumbnail you want to create. But if the thumbnail's not good enough, if no one's going to watch it, what's the point? Right. So yeah, all those things. It's so much. It's insane how much work goes into this. But it's so fun.
You end up learning, I feel like, so much about human psychology in the process. Like, what do people want to hear? What makes people click? How do you evoke certain emotions? Things like that.
Yeah, huge. I mean, I feel like I've learned it a lot. So now, like when I make my YouTube videos, I don't have a script. Even my podcasts, if it's just a solo episode of me, maybe on the podcast, if it's a like 40-minute episode, I have to have some talking points. But on my main channel, I never have a script. I literally just turn on the camera. I have a topic. I turn on the camera and I talk. But usually it's an emotional topic, something that I really feel inside I need to get out. So, and also people don't like it when there's dead noise in the video. I think it's important. Like when on my 10-minute videos, on my newer videos on my main channel, I used to cut out any dead noise. But now what I realized, it gives my audience the time to think and consume what you
Process.
said.
Mm.
Extremely important, right?
I want to draw that parallel to music. So we're getting into all the other things that I do. Like it's the same in music, where it's not necessarily like the sounds that are gonna like give movement or meaning. Sometimes it is those silent bits, where when you like there's two ways to analyze a piece. It's what's happening. You can look at it that way, or you can look at it as what's not happening. Or you know, if you go back into photography, right, where there's this idea that you can remove certain elements from a scene to drive eyes to something else. So it's like you're literally removing. So like it's technically not silence, you can't hear, but like you're removing information so that you give whoever's viewing it the opportunity to see the thing, or to to perceive the thing that you want them to perceive. And it's kind of interesting how like a lot of this is, we've had, I guess, thousands of years of like there's a body of work that does the same thing, and it's interesting how it still applies here to YouTube.
Yeah, it is human psychology. And also, if I can add, like William, and even with you, Pratik, like, yeah, your backgrounds like are different from each other, but the backgrounds you have, like my background, I mean, on this Mac Studio, you can't see it unless you're looking on a live stream right now, right? But it helps because, like, for example, William, and look at your background, it's like, dang, that's high rise. And usually people who live in a high rise, they've had some success, unless they're really just living way over their means, right? And so it kind of gives that feel that they can trust in what you say. Unfortunately, that's how it is, right? On YouTube, of course, the content you get and the value you get through your words are extremely important, but like that backdrop is legit. And even with you, Pratik, right, that's a good backdrop too. It's simple and it looks clean. It's more than enough, right? So what you guys have going right there already works. Yeah, and usually people's backdrop is like what I have now. It's not on this on my Apple Studio Mac camera, it looks bad, but this wouldn't be a good backdrop because it's too distracting with all these things behind me, right? Where on my lens, it blurs my background, the bokeh on
Yeah,
it.
the
So they
bokeh
focus on
effect
me.
sells.
Yeah, it's huge, right? So those small things matter. Yeah, so yeah, that's just my 2 cents. And actually, I'm so sorry, I have to meet with a mentee in 15 minutes.
Yeah, I was about to say I thought you had only an hour, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I moved it to 12:30. I didn't think I would still be talking. I'd still be in this at 12:30 though, so I have to meet him in 15 minutes. But I have like 5 more minutes though. I'm just letting you know. So.
Okay. All right. Well, I want to drop some other stuff just for people who are watching. If you want to achieve like that nice background separation, there's a few ways that you can do it. One is you can buy a lens that has a very wide aperture. The lower the number, the wider the aperture. The lens
f-stop.
Yeah, the lens that I'm on currently is 1.8, but that's only half of the equation. The other half of the equation is your focal length. For what it's worth, your f-stop number is it's a ratio between the opening and the front of the lens, as well as the back of the lens. So what you can think about is if you're able to extend the focal length, you can increase your depth of field, or you can also decrease your depth of field, which is actually what you want. You want a shallow depth of field in order to create separation from your background. So there are 3 ways or 2 ways that you can accomplish that: longer focal length, and you're here, or you get away from your background. So like if you're in a tighter area, it's going to be harder. You're going to have to use a lower aperture number, f-stop. But if you have a lot of space, what you can do is you can get something like a 35 millimeter or 50 millimeter and set it back away from you a little bit, and it's going to create that same effect, but it'll be a lot stronger. So I'm just sharing this because if you start looking into lenses that are able to give you that type of separation, you're going to notice that they ain't cheap, right? So you can achieve the same effect with a f4 lens, which is typically half the price, maybe even 6% less.
It has to be closer to your face.
Not necessarily. What you do is you zoom in, you increase your focal length, and you set it, and you go back farther. And that f4 is going to create a something called, well, it's a parallax effect, but it's going to create something called compression. So it's going to make your background appear bigger than it is, and it's going to make you, in relation to that background, bigger. So it's going to feel like it's more separation between you and your background. So that's the way you can accomplish the same type of look if you don't want to go and drop $1,200, $2,000, $3,000 on a lens. And this is for people who watch the VOD, not you all. Like So that's the other part of the live stream, is that like you just got to keep in mind that you don't know who's watching, and
Yeah.
you don't know where they'll watch or so you just drop the information and they'll put it in there. But yes, any last thoughts before we let Chris go?
I just wanted to wish you best of luck. I know you have the job offer thing coming through next week, so good luck with that.
Yeah, dude, it's a lot to think about, man.
Yeah.
But again, I'm in this Discord, and usually I can invite people into it, since you both worked in tech. I might be able to invite you later when you're growing your following a little bit, because I think the minimum is 1,000 or 2,000 subscribers or something. Yeah, it's in that channel. A lot of people quit their jobs, and they share how much they make every month. And I'm like, damn, I can do this too. And I just always too afraid to do it. So yeah, just like what William said earlier, just being laid off is like honestly a blessing. Again, another blessing in disguise, like the last time I laid off. So we'll see. Yeah,
I was listening to this podcast by this internet entrepreneur, and he got laid off in 2008. And since then he blew up. He had all this free time. He started with like an architecture ebook that started getting him like 10,000 a month, and then it just kind of took off from there. And he has a podcast. There's like a whole online class. Probably makes like a couple million a year now. But like it all started from him getting laid off in 2008.
Yeah, I'm lucky I got laid off with the following I have. I'll say that. I'm very fortunate, for sure. So yeah, but anyway, dudes, this was so much fun. I forgot to eat lunch, but so I need to.
We should do it again at some point. But yeah, thank you for joining. Good luck, same. As well as thank you for all the information. It was actually really helpful, and hopefully people who view this, maybe they'll get some value out of it as well. Go ahead and go. Like, I don't want to keep your mental late. All right, man.
I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Yep. See you, man.
All right, let's do. Here we are. Oh shit! All right, hold on. I gotta fix it. Oh gosh. Guests. So we're gonna make this you Pratik. So here we are. So your guest too. All right. Yeah. So hopefully you found that fun and enlightening.
Yeah, that was great. It's always great to hear from other people, and he's had some unique experiences. So very helpful. Yeah. Well,
I think we all have had unique experiences, and honestly, that's part of the thing that I want to do, like more of, is kind of like get these experiences out there, like share it. One of the things that I've kind of hinted at this, but like when I'm out in the world, people, they'll just see where you are now, and they don't really see that, hey, like you can get there, but there's a lot of stuff in the background that you don't see that you're going to have to do and go through to get there. And I want more young people to understand that. And it goes back to what I was saying in a previous stream, where it's like I didn't know what software engineers did when I was doing this, like when I was younger. Like I didn't see it, right? And even now, like you know what they are, and you kind of have an idea of what they do, kind of. A lot of people think that you just code as a software engineer. I'm like, that's not been my experience. I do a lot of other things. So it's just like just being able to kind of share these real life experiences, and not just like the glitz and glam of working in tech. It's like it's a job like any other thing, but like with any other job, it's how you approach it can drastically shape the outcomes that you get out of it, right? Like because a lot of us all start off working, but a lot of us don't get to a point where we no longer have to work. So it's like, what are these people doing differently? Are they just making more money, or is it that they're just doing something different with the same money and the same hours that you have, right? So hopefully this is helpful and useful to more than just us. And I think that he's like some of his feedback, I think we should implement by the next time we meet, whenever that is. I don't know what it is, but it's like whenever we meet again.
Publish 100 videos by the next time I meet you?
No, not that. Maybe descriptions, or maybe the thumbnail, maybe, I don't know,
thumbnails.
Just something, right? Like there should be something that we can take from here. I'm gonna have to rewatch because I was also trying to manage.
Yeah, I took some notes. I have it like up here. But he said like publish your first video yesterday, and then don't make every video perfect. Just focus on getting like 100 up ASAP. And then he said like experiment with like styles, like he did vlogs and then went to talking heads, and now he's into like podcast interviews and stuff. The shit talkers make you better. I don't think either of us have a shit talkers problem yet.
Well, so I used to do YouTube in the past,
Okay.
and there was a point, but like I grew up different. Where I'm just like that dumb bot. Like I remember one person, he said something, and I was just like, oh, you must want a Phantom X8, don't you? And like. And like what's crazy is that I was expecting to go back and forth, and like he responded, he's like, oh my, he's like, man, like that was a fuck. He's like, you're right, and and that was it. Cause it's just like, you know, I get it, but yeah, there's going to be people who are going to talk down and talk shit or whatever, but that's okay, right? That means that you're doing something well. If you're not doing anything worth talking shit about, then you're not doing anything. So people only care about the people who are winning. So
that's fair.
It's that's like fair. Yeah, I just grew up different, so that's not something that I will ever care about. But yeah, you're right. Like don't let people get you down. You know, if they're talking about you, just remember they're talking about you. They know who you are. It's asymmetric. Like they know who you are. Do you know who they are? It's like, so like why does it matter what they think?
Yeah.
If it's negative, right? I'm not saying like if it's someone who's supportive and positive, and it's like that's very different. But if it's just someone who's just like just hating, okay, sure, let them hate. Like it's their life. You're still going where you are, where you're going. But anyways, I know that we've been in here for, at least I've been here for 3 hours. I still want to link up later today to kind of go over eCam stuff with you and maybe help you get set up with some certain things. Cause like, you know, if we can get you set up faster, then like now you get to your 100 videos faster, right? So like I'll help and assist you with that. I
appreciate that.
But it's going to have to be after 6 p.m. for me. Like just real talk. It'll have to be after 6 p.m. for me, or maybe at 6 p.m. because I'm about to go out and do some stuff for a few hours.
Yeah, that should work for me.
Works?
Let me double check.
Okay.
Yeah, that totally works for me.
And if it doesn't, we can do it another day. Just as an FYI, I have now decided I'm going to try to stick to this. I am no longer going to work on Sundays. So I'm only talking to people on Sundays. So like either hanging with family, friends. Like if you want to talk about something, we can talk about something, but it won't be like, you know, it'll have to be just like straight up like phone call or something like that.
I respect that, man. Take a day of rest.
Yeah.
Sundays. That's what Sundays are for.
Well, yeah, and yeah, I was like, you know what? Like, I want these other things, but like, I also know that I have to do this other thing because of reasons. We'll get into reasons offline, I guess, as in the future. But like, I got to take that day, and in order for me to get to where I need to go, I have to do it. So I'll be doing that. So let's go ahead and call it for today, and just look out. Like we can stream it if you want, or we can just do a regular Zoom if you want. For your
I'm flexible. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll figure it out. Any case, go ahead and have a good rest of the day. Sorry I kept you this long.
No worries. I had a blast. I didn't even notice the time. It flew by.
Oh well, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay then. All right. Well, I will see you later, man. Peace.
See ya. Bye.
All right. Let's go to here. All right. So hopefully y'all enjoyed that. It was. Oh wait, let me end this thing. Oh, you're still here. What's up, Pratik? I'll go ahead and do this. All right. And turn off interview mode so that it eases me. All right. So yeah, hopefully y'all enjoyed that. I know there's a lot of information in here. We're all over the place. I don't really want to commit live that I'm going to go out and edit it, but I will make an attempt. I'll do that. I'll make it. I'll put a little effort into maybe going back and maybe getting a clip. Maybe. Don't hold me to that. But yeah, like hopefully you got something out of this. I know we went over a lot of different types of topics. Some of the things related, some of the things very much left field. But I encourage you all to give a like and subscribe to not only my channel here on YouTube, but also to 20. Oh, I see we are. Yeah. Wait. Oops, I almost forgot which thing. Okay. Oh, okay. My bad. Yeah. Also go out and subscribe to 20 Hours Later. That's Pratik's channel. He just started it. Let's help him get his first subs to give him some motivation. And also, I mean, pretty sure you all are probably already subscribed to Chris, but go subscribe to Chris if you don't know who he is. Check him out. Also give him a thumbs up and all that kind of stuff. Feel free to drop comments in the VOD once this is up on YouTube, and I'll try to respond to them as quickly as possible. In any case, it's been long enough. I'm already over my 2-hour limit that I've only met once. So I'm gonna go ahead and call it here. Thank you. Have a good rest of the day. Peace.